Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the Baseball South Australia facility here at Bennett Field. It's grand final time. Two of the best teams all year deservedly in the grand final. It's Sturt Baseball Club versus Goodwood Baseball Club. Both teams have been offensive juggernauts all season long. Both teams with pretty good pitching. Something's got to give tonight, but offense would suggest that this could be a high-scoring series. Eric Ballner here and joined by longtime ABL player and now ABL coach, former SABL coach, former SABL player, of course, Michael Dunn joining me. Thanks for joining me, Dunn.
Hello, Eric. Happy to be here, and it should be a very good evening with the two best teams that we've seen so far this year in Clubland. So, looking through their stats, they're pretty evenly matched right across the board. So it's going to be an interesting couple of days.
I think the most jarring stat for me looking through this is their regular starting lineup for both these teams in the season. Every single player with an average above 300, which is almost unheard of. The two only teams in the competition to be able to say that. Something has to give, or does it? Or is it could just be a slugfest in a game like tonight?
Yeah, well, it could definitely be a slugfest. We know the pitching struggles a little bit without an import coming out this year, so you have to rely on some of your lesser-known guys to get some innings in, and with the two hitting lineups that are out there tonight that have all hit over 300, we really could have a slugfest. But again, defense is important, so if you play good defense, you give yourself a chance.
There's a couple things that are different at play in this grand final series. The first is the obvious one. It's in the title. It's a grand final. Surely a little bit of pressure has to sit in there. I know it's on the pitcher, but even as a batter, surely are you holding the bat tighter in these big games? Are you thinking a little bit too much?
Yeah, I guess from a coaching standpoint and what you would think, they would sit down during the week, and there's probably a couple of guys in both lineups where you go, okay, don't let these guys beat you. So you probably don't let a McArdle beat you, and you don't let a Riley Moore beat you, right? So it'll make the other guys around them in the lineup put the pressure on them to make sure they get hit. So work fine to those guys and make the lesser-known guys try and win the game for them.
The man pitching on the mound is Jackson Brebner-Russ. You see him warming up on screen now. Jackson Brebner-Russ finished second in Caps medal voting, which is the McGarry medal, the Brownlow medal equivalent, the MVP votes here in South Australia. He had 31 points, 6 behind Landon Hernandez. He had a fantastic season. He had, that sub-3 ERA. He hit .337 with the bat. He's pitched in championship series games before. He pitched for the Adelaide Giants this year. He's a pretty complete player, especially in the South Australian Baseball League.
Yeah, he's had a great year, and he was rewarded by getting another ABL shot, and he did a really good job for us when he was up in the ABL ranks as well. But he's an above-average club ball player. He does everything well. He hasn't. He used to play third base and he used to catch in the old days, and then he's turned himself into a pitcher and a fairly good hitter. So, and you talk about guys that win Caps medals. Most guys who wins Caps medals are pitchers who can hit, and we found that out with Landon obviously winning. And if you go back through the records over the years, you'll probably find that the last probably 8 of 10 have been a two-way guy as well.
He's got a really tough lineup to face in the Goodwood Indians. Both teams had fantastic seasons. Sturt won the minor premiership. They were the best team in the regular season. Goodwood finished 4th, but there was only 2 games separating 1st and 4th place in a logjam seesaw year all season long. But the seesaw will end up in one direction after this weekend. It's the start of the Baseball SA Division I Grand Final Series, and the first pitch delivered by Jackson Brebner-Russ to Josh Cakebread, a player that you know quite well. He leads things off. He's the table setter on the lineup. He hit .382 with 8 home runs and impressively 31 RBIs from the leadoff spot.
Yeah, and he just gets better as he gets older as well. So he knows his strike zone. He knows which pitches to let go, and he always has good at bats. So last year he had a bit of a disappointing year with a lot of strikeouts and changed a few things in the off season, and it obviously worked for him hitting in the high 300s with a lot of RBIs.
He goes first pitch swing and goes right towards Angus Roger over at first base for the out. This lineup, Josh Cakebread, as we said, leads things off. Jeremy Creswell, Riley Moore, Dylan Child, Steph Welsh, Matt Hutchings, Brendan Pett. Those first 7 players, notably all with some pretty decent Australian Baseball League time, rounded out by Owen Hughes and Brody Heaps. He was the Rookie of the Year last season, not this year. That was awarded to Darcy Berry of West Torrens after a fantastic year. This is Jeremy Creswell in at the bat, .387 on the year, and he's 7 for 21 in the postseason. Another guy, he just doesn't make a lot of mistakes both in the field and at bat, as Brebner Russ quickly 1-1 count.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing too that both teams will look to do during the games as well is take pitches deep in counts to get their pitch limits up. We know in club ball that they have pitch limits over weekends, so you make the guys throw as much as they can so they can't come back and throw the following day. So it's an interesting way to go about it, but it evens things up, and you want to make Jacko throw as many pitches as he can, especially early, and put some pressure on him.
150 pitches they're allowed on the weekend, and Jackson Brebner Russ, he notably had a pretty good game one when he pitched in the Grand Final Series 2 years ago. It's great to see a Grand Final Series play out as Creswell takes that one, and Ian Revel behind home plate rings him up on strikes, and Jackson Brebner Russ off to an excellent start with his first 2 quick outs.
Yeah, so 6 pitches and only 1 ball in 6 pitches, so he's settled in really well, and he looks nice and relaxed out there and just throwing strikes and doing what he needs to do to get outs.
Riley Moore making a return to club ball this year, steps into bat. He played with the Adelaide Giants this season. He can play a little bit of everywhere. He can catch, plays the outfield. He had a fantastic Super League season with the bat. He was on fire, and he had a pretty good SABL season, hitting .422 with 6 home runs, 22 RBIs. And Jackson Brebner Russ, as you mentioned, just racing ahead in counts.
Yeah, hitting corners too. That's a good sign early on in the first innings that he's hitting outside corners with lefty. So, and it looks like it's dying a little bit off the plate, which makes it even a little bit more interesting to hit as well. So if he can keep doing that all night, he'll be hard to get away.
That one just rides a little bit outside. Riley Moore, an American player now living in Australia. Not an I think he's still technically an import, but he's a permanent resident here. Played in the College World Series with Arizona.
And won.
Yes. It's pretty good.
Absolutely. Not many people come out here and say they've done that in their lifetime.
Chases that. Jackson Brebner Russ locating pretty well. Came over. He played Port Adelaide for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, he did with me. He came over with Tanner Tripp the year that they came out here. So he came out and played that year with Port and finished second in the McCaps medal behind Wes Romer that year that Wes Romer won. So he lost by 1.
Wow. So when Wes Romer was with Glenelg.
Correct.
He fouls that one away. Yeah, I remember that year quite well back in the 15-16 season. Glenelg, I think, won the first grand final that was played at West Beach over Woodville in that season.
Glenelg did, yes, they did beat Woodville in the grand final. It might have been that year.
We went through a stretch where we had 5 different clubs win in 5 different years, sort of showing the parity of the competition. That drought, that stat will come to an end to this weekend, as Goodwood won in 2018. Sturt won in 2019 in a series versus these Goodwood Indians. COVID won in 2020. Kensington was awarded the premiership.
Yes, but I believe the COVID was certainly the winner that year, wasn't it? So.
No, COVID's won a few things this year, I think.
It has.
We're very lucky in South Australia. If you're watching from all over the world, we've been able to have there's been a lot of interruptions, but fans at all our Australian Baseball League games this season, fans at all the club ball games throughout the year, and now the community can come in pretty much unrestricted to watch this at Bennett Field in South Australia on a remarkably calm night at West Beach.
It's an eerie kind of night, isn't it? There's no wind whatsoever, which is extremely strange for West Beach.
Riley Moore, great at bat. He's fouled a few away to keep this a 2-2 count. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Denny. When I was looking at the weather forecast for this, you see 20 degrees in the day in Adelaide, which you think got to rug up for the nighttime. It's going to be 9-10 degrees down here, but it's warm, it's still, it's a little bit humid, and there's not much wind.
Yep, no, absolutely. It's a perfect night to play.
Those are hitters' conditions on 2 pretty good hitting ball clubs. Brebner Russ, 2-2 count. Riley Moore, excellent job to work this count full. Like you said, Denny, just even if he gets out here, he's probably done a pretty good job just to work up the pitch count.
Yeah, this will be this is the 8th pitch coming up now. So, as a pitcher, you don't like to have too many of those at bats and get your numbers up early. I mean, in the early stage of Riley's at bat, Jacko's probably getting out the innings in 7 or 8 pitches, and now he's double that. So,
a gritty at bat in the middle of the lineup, you'd expect nothing less. And if anyone gets on base, anybody in this lineup, a threat to score him. Called on strikes inside. Riley Moore, not overly pleased about it, but Jackson, Brebner, Russ, 2 strikeouts looking in the first inning, and Sturt are through 1, 2, 3.
So Jacko's got that good little sinker going there. So I think that caught Riley a little bit off guard. He thought it was in, and it sunk back across the plate and got the inside corner, and Rev called it strike 3.
Well, the batting lineup, we'll start with the batting lineup for Sturt. Harry Nucky leads things off. Terrell Joyce, we'll talk a lot about him when he comes up to bat because he's had a ridiculous season. Jordan McCardle, the lefty, followed by Dylan Ridding, then Angus Roger, another left-handed bat. Mitch Lightbody, all those players, either ABL caliber players or Terrell Joyce, probably an ABL caliber player, but he's been an import the last few years and dominated. And Matt Macbeth, Paul Holmes makes his debut on the season in A-grade playing here, and Tyler Chappell, who was a pitcher in the ABL, rounds up the lineup. Defensively, it is as good as they come in the SABL. Stephen Welsh, Jeremy Creswell, Josh Cakebread, and Dylan Child. That's left to right in the diamond with Brody Heaps, Nick Hutchings, and Owen Hughes left to right in the outfield. Riley Moore catching the infield. Jeremy Creswell and Josh Cakebread. Creswell, 2 errors all season long. Cakebread, 3 errors all season long. As a team, they had a .975 fielding percentage, which was first by miles. I know it's a grand final, so anything can go crazy, but in the regular season, this team didn't really make a lot of mistakes.
And that's why that's where they are. So, and I would expect the same thing to happen even in a grand final. These guys have been around a long time. They're experienced guys. They know how it all comes about and goes about. So, their defense won't lose the game for them. So, it's something they've done very good for a number of years now. And to field 975 over how many games did they end up playing?
30.
30 games is a high number. Is a high number.
And that allows them to put the ball into play, or the opposition to put the ball into play, which might be helpful because tonight's starting pitcher is Liam Scott, and what a story he is. Last season, he was the Division III Goodwood MVP, a younger player who has just worked his way up the ranks, got a chance playing Super League this season, and he took the league by storm, coming in a couple big situations and getting outs. That translated into the Division I season where he went .295, that was his ERA, in 13 games, 10 of those were starts. Opponents only hitting .236 versus him. His numbers are almost exact comparables to Adelaide Giants players Mitch Neuenborn and Nathan Vanderland in this season in the SABL. That is all on the back of some hard work, and what a story for him to get the ball in Game 1 of the Division I Grand Final.
Yep, and early on he just needs to throw strikes, get rid of those nerves, and let Riley help him out and get the ball across the plate, and there's a good start with strike 1.
And there is a first pitch strike. Darren Fidge, I had a good chat with him during the week, and he had nothing but amazing things to say about Liam Scott, and that's probably someone worth getting some praise from as Liam Scott throws this one outside, saying there's no coincidences that he is where he is in the season. He's worked as hard as anybody he's seen in club ball, trying to develop a few other pitches, trying to throw the ball harder. He's up there in sort of the mid to high 80s maybe at the most right now. He set himself a goal to throw 90 miles per hour by next season, but that's just incremental working in the gym right now, trying to get bigger and stronger and ramp it up.
Yep, and he can definitely do that. He's a whippy, skinny kid, but he certainly can get bigger by being in the gym and getting on a good eating program, which will make him bigger and stronger as well. And then go through driveline with Riley over the off season as well, which will help him throw harder as well.
And he's a player that was probably often overlooked in his junior career in South Australia, but now as a senior, he certainly can't be overlooked anymore. A swinging shot here from Harry Nucky. This heading out to the outfield. Ranging over for that one is Matt Hutchings. And he makes a really nice athletic grab in center field for the first out.
Yeah, that's a good play by Hutch out there, and that settles a team down to make a play like that early in the game, to know that you can rely on your fielders to make the plays when they need to make the plays and get the outs and stop guys from getting on early.
A slow motion look at the replay. Had to have all his momentum going that way. Michael Dunn, you played outfield for a long time. As Terrell Joyce steps in, he's a danger bat. Yeah, that's not an easy play to make.
No, and that, as I said, that's a team confidence thing right there, to make a play. You know, the first out of the game in the field for them, he makes a great play like that, and it gears everyone up to keep doing the same thing over the whole night.
Well, I mean, Owen Hughes has been a pretty productive outfielder for a while in this competition in right field, and Brody Heaps can fly in left field. That's a lot of ground this collective outfield group can cover.
Yep.
You can see Liam Scott pitching very carefully to Terrell Joyce, and why wouldn't you? He had 10 home runs and 28 RBI this season, or 38 RBI this season, sorry, in 20 games. He came in after Christmas, and he had a .508 batting average, and it's a 4-pitch walk. I don't want to say that was an intentional walk, but I also can't confidently say Liam Scott was going after him.
No, not compared to where he threw the pitches to the first hitter in Harry Nucky. So he worked fine. As we said before the game, there's guys you don't want to beat you, and this would be a series where Terrell Joyce doesn't want to beat them.
This middle of the lineup has to be scary for any pitcher because Terrell Joyce is up, and now Jordan McArdle is coming up to bat. And Jordy has been one of the most productive batters in the Australian Baseball League for the last couple seasons. Unbelievable. Jordan McArdle, he hasn't exactly been hitting probably as well as he'd like in the playoffs. He's only 2 for 9. But he's got 9 walks, and there's a hit to start things off. Down into the corner, Terrell Joyce rounding second. He's going to third, and right on cue, Jordan McArdle has a double, and Sturt have a run. Terrell Joyce scores all the way from first, and Jordan McArdle, who was the MVP of the last Grand Final series, starts off this one in a big way.
Yeah, that ball took a funny bounce off the fence there at right field and bounced back into play, which allowed the runner to go from first to home and score the first run of the game.
Well, Jordan McArdle, I was about to say maybe hasn't hit as well as he wanted, hitting 2 for 9 in the playoffs, but he has made those at-bats count. He has 4 RBIs in that 2 for 9 thing, but amazingly he has 9 walks in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's 4 games, 9 walks.
Yeah, pitchers will throw fine to him as well. Again, he's probably another guy you don't want to beat you as well, but someone's going to beat you, and Geordie turns on that ball down the first base line and gives Sturt their first run.
Yeah, he's a very tough hitter to go against. He hit 375 in the second half of the ABL this season, and it wasn't really a coincidence that when guys like Jordan McArdle and Curtis Meade were doing well, the Giants were too in the season.
Yep.
Dylan Ridding, batting cleanup. Good story for Dylan Ridding. He was progressing quite well, but a pretty significant injury knocked him out pretty much of an entire SABL year. That was last year, and now he's back this year, hitting above 300 once again, sitting right in the middle of a dangerous Sturt lineup. Sturt lineup could be more dangerous if Rickson Wingrove was available. Rickson, affiliated player with the Philadelphia Phillies. He had to fly over to the States to join the Phillies minor league camp. Feels like a pretty good reason to...
Oh, I think that's a fair reason to go, and I don't think he had a choice to do it. It was... they all got called up, and away they go, and I think most of them left actually today. I know Chris Adamson left today, and I think Josh Tolles also left today as well. So, and I think the guys from Melbourne as well, and Rickson flew out of Sydney, so they all get there pretty much the same time. And
well, Liam Scott deals a pitch that just drops in at the last second and buckles Dylan Ridding, and Liam Scott has his first strikeout of the day, and that is a nice comeback pitch after he allows the double to Jordan McArdle that scored a run.
Yeah, that's a really good comeback there, and he threw a pitch that surprised Ridding, and he buckled a little bit and strike 3.
Angus Roger, longtime Adelaide Giants player. Second in games for a position player, only to Stephen Welsh, who's also playing in this game for the senior ABL side for the Adelaide Bite. Played a couple games for the Giants when they rebranded. All the same in the modern-day ABL.
Yeah, it all falls under the same banner, so yes, everything counts.
A very experienced hitter. Being with Sturt a long time, and that premiership that they won in 2019, you'd be hard-pressed to find a guy that meant more to than Angus Roger.
Yep.
His dad was a prominent club member there, too. The Roger family quite involved in baseball in South Australia. You'll see a shot eventually of the grandstand as Scott deals a pitch over the plate, called. Angus Roger not happy about that at all.
Well, it's only strike 2, so...
It was a dramatic strike.
Rev TV moment right there for Ian Revel.
It's that kind of reminds me of the scene, what is that, from The Naked Gun?
Yeah. Leslie Nielsen, yeah. So
for anyone watching, if you haven't seen that clip, just go on YouTube and do Leslie Nielsen umpire, and you'll be entertained for a while.
for hours.
Ian Rebel doing his best impersonation.
I'm sure Angus right then was like, "What?
I know.
What's
It's
going on? That's
strike two,
strike two. Rule change?"
Angus Roger pushes this down the line. Is it going to stay fair? Scott picks it up. He had to make a quick decision on that. Wasn't sure if that was going foul or fair. He scoops it up and zips it down the first base line to Dylan Child. But Sturt strike first with an RBI double from Jordan McCardle. Here's a take a look at the replay. What do you do on these, Dunny, as a player? It looks like it was foul and almost came back fair, actually, on that.
Yeah, it did come back into play. And as a base runner, you just have to run until it gets past the line. But it's an interesting one where Rogues probably could have got past the ball then and then ran inside the line, which made it harder for Liam to throw the ball down to first. But being back behind it, it made it easier for him to make the throw to first.
Well, Sturt on the board first. It's 1-0. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with inning number 2. Back inside the Division I Grand Final. Here's a look at that last at-bat. Angus Roger. Looked like it went a little bit foul. Comes back fair. Liam Scott, quick decision to pick that up. And that throw probably harder than what it looks. Has to be a bang-bang quick play. You could see the choppiness of it right away, too, as Dylan Child steps in, takes a first pitch strike from Jackson Brebner-Russ, working into inning number 2. Dylan Child, 8 for 19 in the playoffs. He's got a home run and 4 RBI. Hit .403 on the season. Was affiliated with the Pittsburgh Pirates back in the the 2009 to 2011. Played for the Adelaide Bite in the first couple seasons.
Yeah, he's in a nice little rhythm here. He's throwing all his pitches around the plate. He's got a nice little sink going.
Dylan Child bites at that. Tyler Chappell to first base, and that is out number 1. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on, Danny. Jackson Brebner-Russ looking like he's in a rhythm.
Yeah, he is, and he's got that little sinker going as well. So the sinker going away from the lefties, and then he throws that sidearm slider that breaks into the back foot of the left-hander as well, which is really hard to hang off of. So if he can keep throwing that for 4 or 5 innings and Sturt can put a few more on the board, it'll make it tough for Goodwood to get back in this.
Stephen Welsh, one of the biggest legends of South Australian baseball. Long time affiliated with the Boston Red Sox. He did play Double-A for them. Played for the Adelaide Bite. He's 284 games. That is the most anyone's ever suited up for the Adelaide Bite.
For the Bite.
For the Bite, yeah.
Yeah.
But he would rank fairly high. I'd have to go pull out the list, even in the old school Giants.
Yeah, probably top 10. He'd be in the top 10, yeah, definitely.
In games that represented, I guess, South Australia at the professional level.
Yep.
Andrew Scott, I know, has that lead, and Nathan Davison right behind him for the 1-2, and Michael Dunn, number 3, I think.
3 or 4, yeah.
Craig Watts up there.
Yep.
He's coaching in this game, Craig Watts. Stephen Welsh swings through that one and just bites on another. Jackson can wind it up and throw it pretty hard when he needs to.
Yeah, he can. He's got that slippery one that he can bear down on a little bit to surprise you when he needs to. And here's where this is a good time to throw. He's gone away, so that's that sinker. Yeah.
Right on cue, he goes away with it and Stephen Welsh. Probably just not located the best that he would have wanted, but Welshie lays off that. Hit .441 this season. Of all the qualified players, the players that played the full season, Terrell Joyce came halfway through. Stephen Welsh led all of them. .441. It's a big number. And that is the first base runner that Goodwood have had on the day. Here in the second inning, Stephen Welsh is aboard. And you can see him exchange with a longtime Adelaide Bite teammate and Angus Roger at first. That'll bring Matt Hutchings. He's played a few seasons with the Adelaide Giants now. Didn't play for them this season, but big productive season in club ball. Led the team with 12 stolen bases. He hit .390, 4 home runs. It's just kind of a relentless lineup, this Goodwood side.
Yeah, and he was rewarded with an all-star, a team of the year in the SABL as well, an all-star spot. So he's probably had the best year he's ever had in club baseball since he's been playing, I would think.
That one rides well away into him, and that plunks him. It's going to be 2 base runners, a walk, and a hit by pitch. Has to take one for the team there.
Yeah, well, these are the games where base runners are important, and on a night like tonight with the guy hitting behind you in Pet who can hit a long ball as well. So it's do what you can to get base runners on and try and score.
Yeah, Brendan Pett didn't have a home run all season, but he's hit 3 in the postseason.
Yeah, there you go.
That's who's batting right now, Brandon Pett. The key part of that team that won in 2018 and 2019, part of the big team all season, but comes grand final weekend. He was actually getting married on grand final weekend.
Yeah, he was.
Which was a pretty key out for Goodwood. That over the plate, so Jackson Brebner-Russ, after a walk and a hit by pitch, finding the zone once again. The 1-1 to Brandon Pett. This hit over towards third. Light body, steps on the bag, and he gets the force out. He thinks
foul.
better. It's called foul.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to have a look at that.
Yeah, I saw him make the play. We'll get a look at it here on the Plura Activewear replay. But, yeah, it was coming down the line. It was the smart thing to do, at least step on the bag. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, that was close.
That was very close.
Because if that goes across the bag, it's still in play because Dylan was behind the bag. So, Payne's right there, so you would...
You'd think he'd get a good view on it. The umpire of the year, Payne Souter.
Oh, there you go.
But, yeah, he stepped on the bag. That was the right play. That was a chance to turn 2 and get out of the inning. Instead, it remains a runner in scoring position. Brendan Pett evens things up 2-2. Owen Hughes stands on deck. Goodwood in an early hole after the Jordan McCardle double.
I mean, Mitch holding on Steph there. I don't think Steph's really going to go anywhere, so he's got a big gap there. It's probably not a spot he needs to be in. I think Mitch can fill that hole there. It's Welshie's definitely not going to run in this sort of situation. So
yeah, that's Mitch Lightbody and Tyler Chappell, very close to Stephen Welsh over at second base.
Yeah, big gap. So you're probably not sure why in that sort of situation because Welshie's not really he's not a running threat, and you do leave a big gap there between short and third. So
yeah, for a guy whose natural swing is going to go that direction too.
Yep.
The 2-2. Pett goes right to him at second. Flip for one. Can they turn 2? And they do it.
There you go.
You talk about that big hole. Well, he hit it right towards Mitch Lightbody standing at shortstop, and they get the 6-4-3 double play to eliminate a scoring threat. Take a look here.
Maybe they know more than we do, huh?
Maybe. Yeah, he was moving. He was holding the runner, and that probably ended up being a bit lucky that it goes right to him.
No,
but you're right. If that ball is 10 feet to the left at that speed,
it's a hit.
It's a hit, and its base is loaded.
Yep.
So it still would have been a pretty tough play. Well, Eric Ballner, Michael Dunn joining you for all the action. We're going to the bottom of the second. A fantastic season of baseball in South Australia. We finally got it in start to finish despite all COVID, a lockdown in the middle, a Super League season mixed in the middle, and that was delayed too. Some key sponsors there. You can see the Super League branding behind home plate, but Just the Thing Furniture Warehouse, one of the big partners of the Super League in baseball in South Australia. Dunny, you know a little bit about Just the Thing Furniture Warehouse, I've heard, but a pretty good place to their warehouse in Beverly if you're looking for, I don't know, anything from home renovations to getting yourself even decked out for the winter months. And I know they still have outdoor furniture left, but a lot of great things at the warehouse in Beverly.
Yeah, run by my brother. So it's he's got a 6,500 square down there. So he's got all your furniture that you need for your home, outdoor furnitures, rugs, and everything you could really ask for on a home furnishing front. So get down there and see him, and if you still mention Baseball South Australia or the Super League, you'll get free home delivery of all of your furniture.
That's a key thing. You can avoid having to rent that awkward van to get everything in there. They can help you out and avoid the fees behind that. So Just the Thing Furniture Warehouse, proud partner of baseball in South Australia, and we're now into the bottom of the second inning. Mitch Lightbody leading things off for Sturt. They have a 1-0 lead. Well, now also joining us in the broadcast booth is another very special guest as Lightbody takes another pitch. Swings at that one, flared out towards right field. That goes foul. It's Baseball South Australia's own East Torrens pitcher, Adelaide Giants pitcher, and now San Diego Padres pitcher, Riley Yateman. Riley, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, good. Thanks for having me.
Riley Yateman does a lot around here. He was down in the canteen earlier making some hot chips, was it?
Yeah, hot chips and some gravy.
You got to do what you got to do. You just signed a professional baseball contract, and I'm sure you thought that's how it would play out in your mind, that, sign a contract with the Padres, get that all sorted out, and then go and make chips in the canteen.
Definitely. That's how I thought it was going to be.
That's back in the real world, right?
Lightbody watches that one go up high. It's a 2-2 count. Liam Scott on the mound, another hard-working pitcher. There's another younger player. Although Mitch Lightbody, 23 years old now? He's been around performing at a high level for a bit.
Is he that young? I thought he might have been a little older than that. Do you know that for a fact? Or
I think he's 20. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I reckon.
Riley, what do you think?
Oh, I'd say early 20s.
Yeah. Maybe he seems older because he has been around for such a long time.
He really has, yeah. He's been a key part of these Sturt teams that have sort of been dominating to the top part of the lineup. Riley, this one high, and he went around. He's called out on strikes. It's strikeout number 2 for Liam Scott.
I think you find that nowadays, especially in the big leagues, and it probably filters down through to all sorts of level of baseball, that if you check like that from now on, umpires just don't even make a decision on it. If you check, you're out.
Yep, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Matt Macbeth steps in. Riley, you are a pitcher in the South Australian Baseball League. You'd be very familiar with these two teams as Macbeth fouls this away. The only two teams in the competition have every member of their starting lineup with a batting average of over 300. Both teams are statistically, offensively dominant. Is it as hard as it sounds to face these two teams?
It definitely is, especially with all the ex-ABL guys with their hitting over the years. But it was a good experience, though, to the older guys as well.
17-year-old Riley Yateman joining us in the broadcast booth as Matt Macbeth settles in on an 0-1 count.
And if you were playing in the grand final, Riley, which lineup would you rather face? Would you rather be playing against Goodwood, or would you rather be playing against Sturt?
Probably Sturt.
Yep. Any reason for it?
Just they're a lot younger.
As Macbeth flies this one out towards center field, and Hutchings lost it completely. He was ready to bring it in, and Macbeth is going to slide into second, and he's called out. Macbeth doesn't like it. I think he kind of got a freebie on that one. That was a ball that absolutely should have been caught. He pushed for two, and an odd play. Here's a look at it again. Matt Hutchings had no idea where it was, but a good recovery from him to zip him in. And
That's a tough one. But this is the West Beach this time of night. It's really hard to see. You have that sort of a little bit of a cloud cover with the blue sky still in this. And if you don't get the ball off the bat, it completely disappears. And it doesn't matter who you are in the outfield, you just cannot see the ball at all.
Yeah, Hutchins was looking for that, Paul Holmes.
So now you go through a process with your infielders to say to your infielders, make sure you let your outfielders know when the ball goes in the air to know where it's going, though. So they twirl their finger up in the air above their head, and they make sure they let the outfielders know that the ball's in the outfield and to start trying to track it and find it.
Obviously, that communication crucial.
100%, because you have no idea where it is. You've got no idea. And if you don't pick it up early, it's almost a white ball in a really tough sky. It just vanishes. It just vanishes. So it's I've been through it many a time, and it's the worst feeling because you know it's there.
I was going to say, is it a lonely feeling?
Yeah, because you don't know it's there, but you don't know where it is, and it's a tough time to do it. But Matt played that really well. He knew he was never going to catch it, but he made the secondary play and got the out of second.
Paul Holmes watches that one outside. They're saying didn't go around. It's a 2-2 count.
But there was a close play at second base, so that's an interesting one as well. So it's, Payne right on top of it again there, but that was bang, bang. And
yeah, Macbeth not too happy about it. He didn't make too much of a fuss, though, but usually when the player is up in arms like that, as this is grounded towards Cakebread to first, he's not going to miss those. We've played 2 in West Beach. It is a 1-0 lead for Sturt. We'll be back for the 3rd inning with guest commentator Riley Yateman. Back here at West Beach, Grand Final Series, game number 1, Sturt versus Goodwood. Teams on a Riley Yateman, who's joined us here, the 17-year-old gun from East Torrens Red Sox and the Adelaide Giants. He had to face who did you go out to in the playoffs first round? Was it
Henley and Grange?
Henley and Grange. So you didn't get to face them in the playoffs, but you faced these 2 pretty heavy lineups in the playoffs. Now you mentioned before that Sturt was the lineup you'd rather face. I'm sure it's like a pick your poison type thing. This is ripped out towards left field. That one drifts foul. This is Owen Hughes up to bat. Why is it Sturt that you'd rather challenge? You said they're younger.
Yeah, a lot of them are younger and probably don't have as much power as what Goodwood have at the moment. So I'd rather face Sturt.
Helps with not having Wingrove in the lineup.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, you may change your mind.
Yeah.
Owen Hughes, 0-2 count. Chops one up the middle. Tyler Chappell can't quite handle it. Owen Hughes is aboard.
Yeah, that's one of those plays where you're sort of caught in between. You either, Tyler probably comes forward straight away and makes that play on the half volley instead of trying to get it on the hop. He probably picks that play up. But you got to do that so instantaneously that if you don't, you're caught in no man's land, and then it's one of those plays. Yeah, it's one of those plays. But that's good. Goodwood get runner on with none out. And Owens can run a bit, so interesting to see what play they might do here with a 9 guy up. They may
and Brody Heaps has some speed.
Up.
This is Brody Heaps. He was the Rookie of the Year a couple years ago. Riley, you won the Rookie of the Year for the Super League this year, as well as the Golden Arm. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Golden Arm.
How was that experience for you this year? I mean, it was a shorter fence, intimidating environment, some of the best on best, and that was kind of the the debut that I guess the big South Australian audience saw for you, as Heaps tries to lay down a bunt. Not the best one as that tips foul. Did you feel pressure?
Definitely with when they put the Joker card on with runners on first and second and with the shorter fence, you had to make sure you execute your pitches really well.
This is Heaps stepping in. The 0-2 count. Can't lay down the bunt anymore.
Well, he can, but he's just
He
out.
can. Well, I mean, yes, you can, but it's a bit risky.
Yeah,
you're right. I shouldn't say can.
Top of the third, you probably are.
Yeah.
Knowing Wiggy, I'm pretty sure that's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
not really the percentage play, especially after the last bunt went straight up in the air and behind him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be surprised, but crazier things have happened. Heaps just stays alive. So, Riley, you signed with the San Diego Padres. Talk to me about that process. How many teams were you talking to?
I was talking to about 5 before Padres came in.
Before the Padres, and how does that even happen? If I'm playing baseball, how does a person get their name out there for that to even happen?
So basically they saw me at the under 15 World Cup in 2018 in Panama, and then basically they didn't speak to me for a while. Then just after the Giants season, when I was in quarantine, started making more contact, and they offered us the offer.
So when you get an offer, do you go and you talk to some other teams as well and say, hey, this is what the Padres offered me? Do you try to leverage any of the situations, or walk me? I've never had to be signed before.
Yeah, we definitely were speaking to other teams that saying that Padres offer us this much, so they were even putting their money up. But we made our choice with the Padres, and we're happy with that.
So, what made you pick the Padres in the end over the other teams? Was it just, sometimes it is money related because you're young and you look after your future and that type of stuff. But what made you come down to picking the Padres from the other 4 teams that offered you up some information?
We were talking to Grant Little from the Giants, and because he's from San Diego, so we had a good chat with him. He said their minor league system's really good there. They look after all the pitchers really well, and talking to their scouts, they love tall right-handers and young, so...
This drops in for a strike. Brody Heaps battles away, but he goes down on strikes after a bit of an argument before, but that is the first out and a crucial one with a runner on. Sorry, Riley.
That's okay. No, they just like to help all the young pitchers that come through and hopefully get them into the bigs within 5 years.
Okay, so you stay here for the next 12 months?
Yeah, so I'll go over
Finish school?
March next year, finish school, year 12 this year.
And what do you do between now and then to prepare yourself? I mean, obviously, from a young adult's point of view, you're probably not 100% sure what you're in for yet.
Cake Bread lifts this out towards left field. Again, trying to fight the lights. You saw a good job from Terrell Joyce backing up Jordan McCardle, and they bring that out for out number 2.
So how do you prepare yourself between now and then to make sure you're ready to go by the time you get on a plane in March 2022?
Basically, just making sure I'm getting bigger and stronger in the gym, putting some weight on, and keeping my arm nice and fresh, and make sure I'm not getting injured or anything.
Yep. And you go through a program here while you're here. Is that through the HP program with Riley, or does it go through a Padres program they send through to you, or how does that sort of work?
So they're sending me a gym program and a throwing program in the next couple of weeks. So basically, I'll be throwing twice a week with their program in the gym as well.
And so who do you throw to? Because the Padres will send that over, but it's not like the Padres have any staff members that are just situated in Adelaide saying, hey, we're here to work out our Padres guy. You're the only Padres guy here. So who do you work out to, and who helps hold you accountable to make sure you're doing those things?
There's a guy in Victoria who's with the Padres, so he's going to come over a couple times a month just to check on me, see how I'm going, and then the guy that signed me is flying out in a couple of weeks just to get to know me and also work with me as well.
So that's Damien Shanahan, yeah?
Yeah, Damien Shanahan.
Okay. This ball lifted into foul territory. Angus Roger made a play on it, but tripped over himself. Here's a take a look at the Plura replay. He tripped once, and he tripped twice.
That's double sniper, isn't it?
Yeah, double sniper. Someone just really wanted to make sure he went down.
And, Angus not a young man anymore either. So it's
Jeremy Creswell is the batter. It's a 1-0 count. There are 2 outs. Eric Ballner, Michael Dunn, and Riley Yateman joining us.
So do you still go through you play club ball next year, you play Super League next year, you play for the Giants next year? Do you still go through all those processes?
Yeah,
the Padres want you to be doing that stuff as well. Or what sort of happens in that lead up to where you need to go? Probably depending on whether the COVID sting still's here, you might. You go first week of March, or you might go the first week of April.
He swings through that. Throw over to second. Play is safe, so it's a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, we talked about it before we signed, like what I could do. So basically, I'll like do Super League, club ball, and then Giants, and then basically at the end of the Giants season, head over.
Yep.
Jeremy Creswell, the batter, runner in scoring position. They had one opportunity in the last inning with runners on first and second, 1 out, but they grounded into a double play. This with 2 outs. You can look back, and a lot of times these grand finals are won and lost on how your team does with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Jackson Brebner-Russ being very careful with him. Tough batter to go against with a runner in scoring position, too.
Yeah. Cressy doesn't strike out very much, so you'd expect him to be putting the ball in the play here. And
do you boys like that call?
And Owen can run as well, so he'll try and score from
Creswell
second base.
Again lifts it into foul territory. I was going to say, boys, for both of you, do you like that call when you got a runner with a bit of speed? It's 2 outs. That's Goodwood trying to create some offense and put a pressure situation on Sturt.
Yeah, that's good. So it gets the pitcher out of rhythm, so makes the foursome like cool time, and basically has to reset.
And it's an interesting one as well because an infielder makes a play and the runner just keeps going as well. So if the ball's short hop by the first baseman or anything along those sort of lines, then the runner always scores. Yeah, they score in those situations. We see that a lot in the ABL side of things with guys that can fly. So
Riley, take us inside the mind of Jackson Brebner-Russ right now. I mean, before he had 2 outs, runner on first. Did things dramatically change when you've got a guy with speed now standing, 12 feet away from second base?
Yeah, basically any base hit he could score right now, tie it up. So there'll be a lot going through his head, and there's a strikeout.
But a strikeout is all that he needs. It is strikeout number 4, the second of the inning. Jackson Brebner-Russ turning in a mighty fine performance. He's got Goodwood scoreless through 3 as we head to the bottom of the third. A really nice pitch there.
Yeah, that was a good pitch. It caught Cressy unaware too. He sort of check swing at that one instead of having a full swing. It probably wasn't looking for that pitch in that situation. Got caught out and strike 3.
So, Riley, you signed with the Padres. You did a great job walking us through that decision. But I think the other element here for people watching at home is, you're still a high school student right now. Do you talk to other universities in the United States to try to play up different options of routes you could have gone in your baseball career?
Yeah, definitely. We had a lot of college offers with, Div 1 colleges, JUCO, about, if I don't sign or if something happens when I do sign, that I've got college in my back pocket if something does happen when I'm with the Padres.
So when do you become college ineligible?
Probably...
Is it as soon as you play a professional game?
I'm not quite sure on that one.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure either, because I'd be wondering, is it, I know there's always been rules with the Giants, although I know that there's different ways around it. Like if you're a young player, you can be classified as that development player, the amateur player in the ABL, and then you can still go to college, which is great.
You can still play ABL, you just can't get paid to do it.
You just can't get paid to do it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And same with so even the guys that played Super League, when these guys won the Super League and they got the $5,000 check,
they couldn't get paid.
The college kids in that weren't allowed to get paid.
That makes a lot of sense. So then I would assume, and again, this is without knowing, that I guess it would probably be as soon as you play that professional game with the Padres organization, that probably becomes a bit of an issue to go to university. I would assume, but I don't know the rules. So
I guess it's like every sport where you as soon as you become a pro, you're no longer an amateur, right? So
it makes sense,
and the rules change.
Tyler Chappell sets in at the 9-hole. He used to be a pitcher, but now playing defense, and he's had a pretty handy bat. He's hitting over 300 for Sturt this year. I know he's a guy that you had on a couple teams with the Adelaide Bite.
Yep.
So, Riley, why was it then that you chose to go the professional route right away rather than the university route?
It's a better opportunity. You basically playing with grown men. Basically, you're learning off their skills, what they've been learning of, and yeah, that's basically it.
As Tyler Chappell fouls the first pitch away.
And the Padres spring training camp's really nice too. So they're
This chopped.
based.
Sorry, Danny. This chopped
You're right.
over towards first. Race to the bag. Tyler Chappell diving down over to first, but Dylan Child beats him out. A hustle play that Tyler Chappell made Dylan Child work as hard as he could. Here's a look at the replay. Really close play again.
Bang, bang, yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, so the Padres spring training facility, all reports pretty good. Have you been in that to any of the Arizona stadiums before?
Nah, not yet.
Yeah, so I've been. They're based in a place called Peoria. It's where the Padres are based, and they've got a really nice little setup there as well. So yeah, you'll certainly enjoy yourself.
Harry Nucky steps in, and Riley, obviously it's not an easy decision to make when you're presented a bunch of different offers, opportunities, trying to figure out what's going on as Nucky settles in for pitch number 2 outside. Who are the people in South Australia? I know obviously your dad a big influence, so we'll leave your dad out of this. You can't say your dad. Who are the people outside, I guess, your immediate family that you had to rely on to help you make this decision, or that you turn to?
Probably my cousin Mark. He's a sports lawyer, so basically they sent us a rough version of the contract, so basically we handed it to him. He read through it with his people, and then he was like, yeah, it sounds good, so that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And a patient at bat for Harry Nucky, and he's aboard on a walk.
And what about your childhood heroes growing up, mate? Who is your heroes that you used to like going out and following in either the big leagues or the Giants or the Bite when they were probably the Bite when you were young?
Yeah,
right?
I remember you running
yeah.
around at Norwood Oval when I was on the microphone trying to get some games on the field with all your friends from East Torrens running around. Just around the corner, Norwood Oval from where your ball club was. This is Terrell Joyce up to bat. Yeah, who are some of I want to hear the Adelaide Bite kind of players that maybe you looked up to when you were watching them play, because I have a feeling a few of them would probably be in this game.
Yeah, definitely Fiji. Just the way he worked when he was pitching.
Fiji was playing before you were even born. So that's,
Darren Fidge was playing before every player on the Sturt lineup except for Paul Holmes was born. So
unbelievable.
We'll leave it at that. But Fiji?
Probably in the bigs, would have to be like Roger Clemens, the way he just controlled the game and didn't care who he was facing or anything.
Yep. That helps when you throw 98.
Yeah. The Rocket. He was called the Rocket for a reason. I think there's a couple other reasons why he had a rocket arm too.
Yeah.
This one slips away from Riley Moore, and a very rare defensive miscue from Goodwood, and it could be punishing because now Terrell Joyce, I think it's safe to say the most dangerous hitter going in the league right now, and
Put him on.
You know what? It's 3-0. They don't even bother throwing him another pitch. That is the kind of respect that a guy that's hitting .508 with 10 home runs is doing. Riley, is that kind of the call that you would probably go for too?
Yeah, definitely, especially the bigger guys. When there's where you can get a double play opportunity, that's where it would be a good time to do it.
It just kind of must be a bit deflating for a pitcher. Like, yep, okay, Terrell Joyce will pass up. We'll put him on first, and yep, let's see who we got up to bat. It's Jordan McCardle.
Yeah, he's already scored one tonight with a double down the right field line. So it's he thrives in these sort of situations. So he's happy to come up and hit this sort of at bat.
He's being clutch for the Adelaide Giants the last 2 seasons in particular. He's been clutch in club ball. He was the grand final MVP for Sturt when they won it in 2019. He's been big in the playoffs, a patient at bat, and he swings at that one. They'll be looking for a ground ball here, but how would you be pitching to Jordy right now?
Basically, when we played him in the first double header, it was basically a lot of off speed. Didn't really give him a chance to hit the fastball, just a lot of off speed and out of the zone.
Is that because he can just pound anything that comes in at him pretty quick?
Yep, pretty much.
This one inside, trying to keep Terrell Joyce honest at second. That slips away, but he'll back off. Or Harry Nucky, at second. Terrell Joyce is over at first.
This is where you need to be fine, but you still need to throw strikes. If you put Geordie on as well, it loads him up, brings Roger up to hit, and you can blow it open pretty early here. So you've still got to hit your spots. It's not a time where you can throw around Geordie, but Geordie's he's 2-1 now, so it's an opportunity where he's looking for one pitch right here in one spot, and if he throws it, he could hit it a long way.
McCardle takes that for a strike. It's a 2-2 count with 1 out. McArdle battling away. Check swing down the line. Souders says he didn't go, so it's a full count. He's got to be careful. It's dangerous to load the bases with a walk with Dylan Ritting and Angus Roger due up. Just as dangerous to throw him one over the plate because Jordan McArdle can turn on him with the best of them, and it's a night that's relatively still as far as West Beach is concerned.
You can see the infield's playing the shift here as well on Geordie, so there's a big gap out there between short and third, and they did this a lot in the ABL as well. So Geordie just a pronounced pull hitter. If he hits the ball the other way, it's 1 in 10 at bats, right? So you play the percentages in these sort of situations, try and get a ground ball double play.
You can see he shortened up his swing a little bit too, and that was flared opposite, but foul.
Yeah, I think he got caught out there. He probably wasn't looking fastball. He was looking something off speed, and just got his bat through the zone in time to foul it off and keep the at bat alive.
The full count pitch to McArdle. He stays alive. Now it's turning into a lengthy 8-pitch at bat.
Yeah, this is a big at bat here. So
huge at bat for a young pitcher in Liam Scott, which this would be the biggest moment that he'll have pitched in.
Yep, so far in his career, no doubt.
And hopefully there's many more moments to come for Liam Scott. Full count pitch. McArdle jammed a little bit. That one going to be out of reach of Stephen Welsh by a mile at third base. So it's a 9-pitch at bat, really battling away with Liam Scott. You've got a prolific ABL hitter. You've got a young ABL arm right now. Who's in the advantage in these longer at bats?
It's still the hitter, right? You know, Geordie's been around a long time. It's he's got a lot less pressure on him than the pitcher in this sort of situation.
Riley?
Yeah, I would say Geordie as well.
Again, this is turning into a 10-pitch at-bat. You have that sneaky suspicion when it's all said and done, where you're looking back at the scorecards, this is an at-bat that you'll have circled. That was either a huge out and a big win for Goodwood, or a pitch that might bust this thing open for Sturt. Liam Scott to Jordan McArdle for the 10th time in this at-bat. With 2 runners on. McArdle, hard hit ball. That soft hit to right field. Nucky being waved around. He scampers back. It's going to load the bases. So a 10-pitch at-bat, won by Jordan McArdle. He has his second hit of the day. Wasn't quite deep enough as Owen Hughes cut that off. Nucky gave it a think, but instead it's just going to be bases loaded for Dylan Ritting.
Yeah, good at-bat there by Geordie again. So hits the ball in the gap and picks his second hit up for tonight and loads him up with Dylan up to hit. So again, it's an interesting situation in the game where we can walk off being 1-0 still, or it could be 5-0 in a hurry.
Jordan McArdle had a massive grand final series in 2017 for West Torrens when they won. An even bigger one in 2019 when Sturt won, and he's off for a 2-for-2 start for Sturt in this game. It's like this kid was made for the grand finals.
Yeah, he likes the pressure situations, that's for sure.
Ritting swings through that, and now Liam Scott is ahead 0-2 with bases loaded. You saw him come in the Super League in a few bases loaded situations with the game on the line, and he's got his team out of a jam multiple times during the year. That's where he made a name for himself in the Super League. Just like Riley Yateman sitting with us in the broadcast. 2 of the big stories of that competition. And it's a huge strikeout for Liam Scott to get Dylan Ritting down with bases loaded. Yatey, you said it was a good pitch. You're going to get the replay up here in a minute. I think, tell us why that was a good pitch.
Oh, I just had good break on it, and it was a good spot, low and away. That's where most hitters can't hit it.
Especially with 2 strikes already to your name.
Yep.
Angus Roger, bases loaded. Now it becomes a little bit easier for the Goodwood defense. They can make an out anywhere and get out of the inning. This is a momentum-turning at-bat. No matter what happens in this one, someone is going to have full charge of the momentum. And Liam Scott going right back after him with strikes after a shaky start to the inning. Check swing strike, 0-2 count.
So here's a situation with like bases loaded, 2 out. There's a pitch right here where you don't throw anything near the zone. You throw a pitch that's going to throw a ball in the dirt, whatever, up in the zone, a pitch that no matter if Angus swings at it, he can't hit it. Right, so it's either high in the zone or it's low in the dirt. It's nothing across the plate that he can get anywhere near here and try and get the hitter to swing at a bad pitch.
Ooh.
Bad pitch.
Bad pitch right over the plate and up.
Yep. So exactly where he didn't want to throw it. And he got lucky there. He got lucky that ball didn't find a gap or worse. So Riley will be telling him here it's either way up in the zone or it's way down in the dirt. Get Angus to try and swing at a bad pitch.
2 strikes on Angus Roger. Bases loaded.
There it is.
And there's a great pitch. Liam Scott gets into trouble, and then he gets out of it. Sturt leave the bases loaded. We've played 3 innings. Sturt lead 1-0. Riley, thank you so much for stopping by, joining us, telling us a little bit about your experience. Really, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, mate. We'll see you soon.
We'll be back on the other side. It's a 1-run ball game after 3. Like me talking to you all the time.
Yeah.
Thanks for Riley Yateman for joining us. As this is Riley Moore. So does he have a bug in his eye?
Yeah, that could be the case.
Eric Ballner, Michael Dunn joining you. Yeah, we had Riley Yateman join us for the last inning and a half. He's a young Padres prospect, 17 years old. Great to see him up in the broadcast booth. He's going to have to get... It's a busy week. Let's just leave it at that.
It has been a very busy week, and the Baseball SA staff have absolutely worked their time this week. It's been good.
Dylan Child steps up. Now, I know this morning as he gets this pitch, just a little bit down low. I thought it was a pretty cool event, something that I hadn't seen at least in the 6-7 years that I've been in South Australia. A volunteer thank you breakfast down at Oceanique, was it?
It was, just down at West Beach.
Tell me a little bit about that. Why? What was the motivation behind that?
Well, I think we don't take the opportunity to thank our volunteers enough in sport, and it was a good chance to invite them down to Oceanique, one of our new sponsors, and say thank you to them.
Dunny, was the spread pretty good? You were down there this morning, weren't you?
Any spread for me, mate. You should know better. But no, Oceanique's joined us as a new sponsor this year as part of the Super League, and they'll be part of the SABL as well during the year. So, Letitia and Sam have generously given their time and their restaurant to us whenever we need it, and they've signed for 3 years, which is fantastic. So they'll be the Marlins' major sponsor. So they'll be the Oceanique Marlins for the next 3 years. So we thank them for their support, and they'll be down here at some stage to catch some baseball. They've got 2 young children as well, 2 young boys. So we'll throw bats and balls at them and try and get them involved.
Hit by pitch for Dylan Child. Stephen Welsh now up to bat. Long-time Adelaide Bite player, 284 games at the senior level. He played multiple World Baseball Classics, hit a home run in the World Baseball Classic. He's a player that's pretty much seen it all as he fouls this one away, as tough as an out as they'll come. Yeah, it's a great idea, Sarah, for the volunteer appreciation, because you even see, it's really fascinating to me, even players like Riley Yateman, who's now a professional pitcher, is volunteering at an event like this in the canteen. That's a pretty special part of the community.
Yeah, it's really good to see him down there working in the canteen tonight. It just shows that those athletes have to give back to the sport that they love, and it makes a big difference to how the sport runs. We don't run without volunteers, as you two would know, sitting up here volunteering your time tonight.
What do you mean? Are we getting paid? Damn.
Well, thanks for joining us on the broadcast tonight. Stephen Welsh, the batter, 0-2 count. Jackson Brebner-Russ battling away.
We get paid in food, Eric.
We do. We got some chips and a hot dog that Sarah just brought up for us.
And some water.
And some water. Necessities. This one just a little bit outside.
So this is another situation where you work fine with Welshie, right? So again, you don't want a Stephen Welsh blowing it up here. So He can work fine. Again, the guys behind him not as renowned hitters as Steph is, so you work fine and try and get Steph to get himself out on a pitch like that.
On a pitch exactly like that, it's a second strike, or it's not the second strikeout, the fifth strikeout. What am I on? Fifth strikeout of the day for Jackson Brebner-Russ. He is rolling through 4 2/3. It only is really blemishes. I mean, he allowed that one, I don't know if it was called a hit or an error on the play to Tyler Chappell.
I would think that would be an error. I mean, he got a glove on it, just played it badly, so I would think that would go down.
So he's had a walk, and he's had 2 hit by pitches. Other than that, it's been very clean.
Yep.
Matt Hutchings steps up. Another sponsor. Speaking of sponsors of the SABL and the Super League, Matt Hutchings and his company Plura. Also works for one of our sponsors, I believe.
He may do a couple of hours for me during the week. Yes, he's part of my team as well. So he's got a lot of stuff going on at the moment as well. So he would be thriving on this. So one of the reasons he moved clubs was to play in grand finals and these sort of situations. So he chomps at the bits to get in these situations and hopefully can put a premiership on his resume.
Made the team of the year at the Baseball SA Awards night the other night. This one chopped foul. Sarah, for everyone that's watching at home, we have a lot of interstate viewers, a few overseas viewers, as you'd probably know. Walk us through what happened on Wednesday night.
Wednesday night was our annual CAPS Awards night, and this year it was fantastic to be able to do it face-to-face, as last year we had to do it virtually.
Right.
It was a fantastic night. 300 people, Eric.
COVID safe?
COVID safe was brilliant.
And probably in saying that's a good time to congratulate Landon on winning the men's Division 1 medal and, is it Jess Marsland?
As this is hit
Jessica
hard
Marsland.
into left field, Matt Hutchings going to move the runner over to second base. Jess Maslin actually joining us next inning, Dunny. You'll get to know her.
Yeah, so she won the women's medal as well from Glenelg. So we congratulate both those people for having a great season and picking up the medals in their relative teams.
So what was the vibe like on Caps Medal? You mentioned that it was virtual last year. So what was the vibe in the room like this year?
The vibe was good, Eric. It was everybody was really happy to be there. It was good to celebrate the year we've had and celebrate the successes rather than what we couldn't achieve. I suppose it was it was really good to see everybody out there having a drink and having a good catch up with each other.
Brandon Pett steps in, runner in scoring position, 2 out. That was the first hit off Jackson Brebner-Russ, if that was called an error earlier, and that's unfortunate right after I talked about how the only blemish wasn't a hit. And, there one comes.
Hutch comes up and gets one. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point because I think it is really easy, especially when you're trying a few ambitious projects, whether it be modifications to the Super League or trying to expand the women's game, things like baseball fives. Is this one flared out towards right field? Does it have a gap? It does. Runner rounding around third, and this ball game is tied. Brandon Pett with a 2-out single scores Dylan Child all the way from second, and Goodwood have evened the score.
Yeah, good hitting there by Petty, and again, a good person to hit in that sort of situation and score a run, so it puts a bit more pressure now back on Jacko on the hill.
2-out hitting often makes the difference, and now, how about the last 15 minutes of this game? It was bases loaded, and Liam Scott gets out of a jam with 1 out there.
Yep.
He allows no runs, and that just sets the table for a couple key 2-out hits from Hutchings and Pett as this one pops straight up in the air.
This is interesting.
Beth looking for it. I don't know if he has it. Play, collision at the plate. Did it hit the runner? He did. It did. It hit the runner, and Matt Hutchings is not happy at all about it. He'll be called out. This is right up in the air. Here's a good look at it on the replay. Macbeth he was struggling to find this. Hutchings touches home plate. Is that almost one where he's better just stopping in front, and if the ball hits the ground, then you dot? Like, what do you do as a runner?
I'm not sort of sure. That's an interesting play because Hutch doesn't touch the catcher. So it's only if you interfere with the catcher or the fielder when you're in that position that it's an automatic out. So,
and that's
if you don't because if the
but that was in foul territory. So who's out there?
The runner's out.
So Hutch is out, so Owen Hughes will start the next inning up to bat.
yes, I believe so.
We'll find out. But what an odd play.
Yeah, because the plays. That's an
It's
interesting.
an interesting one. So
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I think the runners. No, I think the runner's out on the.
yeah,
the,
I
no,
think
no,
so.
Owens. It's like if you hit a ground ball and the play gets out, the guy that hit it is still in that bat for him, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's the
This
runner's
is my
out.
40 years of knowledge.
I know.
Not
And
counting.
you-
Never
if you
heard
throw in a challenge
I've
one-
never heard you two be so unsure.
I know.
no,
Normally games are. I mean, it's really weird. You can watch all these games and you think you finally have an understanding of what the heck's going on. And
I
then
think Owen's
something-
out. In the situation, just say there's a runner at first and he takes off to second, and the ball's hit in, and it hits the runner.
Yeah, then Owen
runner's
would be
out.
But he was in foul territory.
Yeah, but if he was standing on the plate when the ball was tipped, is it in foul? It's not foul. It's part of play.
Yes. Okay. Probably. I mean, Lorraine
Well,
Dunn
controversy,
scoring next to
controversy.
controversy. Doesn't matter. It's going to be an out either way. We'll find out.
Maybe someone listening from home can.
Yeah, please
can
just
tell
tell
the,
us, all
tell
the
the people in
listeners
the
at
booth
home.
who have got 60 years experience of baseball that what the
Gee
rule was.
whiz.
'Cause we have no idea.
Yeah, you got the general manager of baseball, me in here, and we got a player that played it, and we're all just like, what is happening right now?
We don't know. Haven't seen that one for a while.
Yeah, I'll check the comments here in a second. But Sarah, I think right before I was trying to get on the point here that it's easy to look at things that you wanted to accomplish or maybe just quite couldn't get along the line. But there's a lot of good things that have happened in the last 12 months. So I guess for Baseball SA's perspective and the administration, what are some of those, I guess, couple key things that you're really proud of looking back in the last year?
Oh, you can't go past Super League this year. I think the alignment to charter has been fantastic, and the young kids coming through now have an ultimate goal to represent their charter at the senior Super League level, and that was really good. We had a fantastic amount of support through that program.
And the charter, that being that it's basically for those watching, it's if when you start off representing your regions, let's call it, from the Little League to the Junior League, Senior League level, and then moving on up to the senior. So why is that important? I mean, you're a Super League general manager and you help make that decision. So why is that stuff important?
The alignment is so important for kids to know where their baseball future lies, and so they have idols, playing out here tonight. These two teams are obviously from the Seahawks, so a lot of the kids will think, wow, look at these guys out here. These are representative of the Seahawks charter. So it really encourages young kids to, continue to participate in the sport, knowing that there's something beyond Div 1 in their club. They can participate in a Super League competition, which is, what we'd like to see, the best of the best in South Australia.
And I guess it helps out that the pathway doesn't stop once they finish being a junior. I guess that's another important thing too. So the adding on of the Super League at senior level, because once you finish at under 15 level in Super League, in charter, you just go to club ball, right? So now they've got a pathway and a thought process that I can do more than just play Super League for my age group, and I can move into a senior Super League team as well.
Matt Macbeth up to bat. You saw a lot of breakout stars in Super League on the Baseball SA scene this year. Liam Scott, that man on the mound, had a pretty big few moments this year in the competition. A lot of the top players in the game decided to join that competition and represented by region. Goodwood and Sturt, the two teams playing today. They were the two clubs representing the South. As this stays fair, Matt Macbeth is aboard with a single. He's thinking two. He'll stand up into second base. Matt Macbeth in scoring position with just one out.
One of those balls that hugs the line. Game of inches, right? Game of inches.
Jordan McCardle had a very similar ball to that back in the first inning that scored Terrell Joyce to make it a 1-0 game. And now Matt Macbeth, as we're working into the fourth inning, jumps on board.
Eric, back on your question about the year gone by, we were fortunate to be able to select a South Australian women's state team of all South Australians this year.
Is that the first
time ever? Unfortunately, the competition has been cancelled due to COVID.
Thanks, COVID. Of course, today announcing that there's another case in Brisbane, and they just announced that it's the UK variant strain. So who knows what travel implications that will have, and I think that the women's games were canceled for exactly that reason. You just never know when it's lurking about, even though we think we have it under
Absolutely.
control here.
Unfortunately, here in South Australia, we've been in a good position, so it's disappointing to see the championships cancelled.
Paul Holmes steps in. He didn't play an A-grade game all season long. He gets the call-up for the grand final and a big spot here with a runner in scoring position. He had a big one back in 2019.
So, Sarah, where do you see baseball going in the next 3 or 4 years' time? What's the plans that you've got in place to improve the competitions, to grow the competitions, or make them smaller, to make them more competitive? Where do the new women's teams come from? Do we move into different sectors of South Australia with new teams? What do you see that coming up in the next 3 to 5?
Easy question, only a couple parts to that, Dunny.
That's right. That's quite,
Start at the first bit and end at the last bit.
I can't remember where it started. Look, I think a number one strategy is to have a under 15s competition for girls only next year. That's 100% what we need to see happen.
There's a walk here for Paul Holmes. Puts a runner on first and second.
As we go up from there, I mean, we need to strengthen our Div 1 competition. And how do we do that? Do we, look at the number of teams we have playing in Division 1? Do we look at the number of clubs we have across South Australia? Do we need to, look further? Do we need to have new clubs popping up in the likes of the Adelaide Hills, down south in the Flurio? We don't really get down to those areas, and we should be.
And you allow imports back in again next year, that if they're allowed to travel, they're obviously allowed to be back in the competition in 2022?
We didn't disallow them this year. They obviously, due to border restrictions and international travel, some couldn't get here, some were here, some got here. I guess the bylaw review committee will be reviewing the rules over the off season, and we'll be working through what that looks like in the coming years.
And how many teams have the women's introduced since you've been involved? I mean, they started with, 5 maybe? 4 teams, and now we've got, how many teams we've got in the competition now?
23.
That's continuing to grow. And
that's 23 teams across Division 1, 2, and 3 across basically all the clubs in South Australia.
Absolutely, yeah. We have 23 teams, which is phenomenal growth in 5 years since its inception. So it's a great result, and we still need to do more work with the women and the women's games, such as, Team of the Year, introducing that kind of concept at the Caps medalist.
Tyler Chappell chases this one, and he's called out on strikes. Liam Scott using a couple big strikeout pitches to get him out. That is strikeout number 5 on the day, and what a start this has been in his big debut on the grand final stage.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I guess moving into the next area of that too, Sarah, is next week's showcase would be a good chat to the improvement of the women's game that moves into next week's showcase, with it being in South Australia. So what's the
Correct.
thought and plans behind that next weekend?
I guess we're pretty proud to have 3 girls represented in the Adelaide Giants, and those 3 girls are our high performance women in our first ever inclusion of women in the high performance program. Ideally we would love to have more teams in South Australia watching that showcase, but we have 40 young girls coming in from across Australia to be part of a national training camp here in Adelaide, so we're excited about that.
So I guess
Harry Nucky, sorry, Dunny, he's up to bat right now. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. He got to third but was stranded there. Can he deliver a 2-out hit?
And this is the same situation in the last innings with Liam Scott here, and he did it again. Struck out the second and third hitter in both innings to clear the bases with runners at first and second. So he's doing exactly what he needs to be doing for Goodwood. So back onto the showcase game next week, Sarah. So you say the 3 girls that are in the high performance program for South Australia, are they the only 3 girls that were in the program last year, and all 3 of them have made
and those 3 girls being Alice Prokopek, Carly Moore, and Jessica Maslin.
And all
Correct.
3 of them have made the showcase game next week. So that's a good introduction for the young girls to be joining the high performance program and getting better and having the opportunities to play in such an important stepping stone in the history of baseball in South Australia.
Correct, and young Georgia Davis is another member of our high performance program, and she's been included in the national training camp next week, so it'll be great to see her progress through the ranks of the women's ABL.
It's the first time that we'll have a, professional team, and those rosters were announced. Well, Sarah, thank you very much for joining us for the last inning. We've got our next guest up in the broadcast booth right now, and it's probably on cue that we were just talking about the Women's League, because Jessica Maslin, who was the best and fairest for the women's competition, she had a great season this year, didn't she? She
absolutely excelled in the Glenelg Division 1 team, so it's exciting for you guys to talk to her today.
Thank you very much for joining us, Sarah Kelly, the General Manager of Baseball South Australia, here in the Division 1 Grand Final. Eric
My
Ballner,
pleasure.
Michael
Thank you.
Dunn with you, and Jessica Maslin going to step into the broadcast booth as we get into the 5th inning. We've reached the midway point. We'll catch, I know Jess just came from training as well. We're going to catch up everybody up to speed with what's happened in this game. Liam Scott and Jackson Brebner-Russ, the two pitchers going up there. Terrell Joyce was walked in the first inning. Jordan McCardle, a double, scored him. They kind of traded shots. A big moment comes in the 3rd inning where Sturt had bases loaded and 1 out, and they couldn't score the run. Liam Scott, he's actually got his last 4 outs via the strikeout, and then with 2 outs and a runner on second, an RBI to Brandon Pett tied this game at 1. Liam Scott just struck out the side. He's got 6 on the days. It's a good battle, and now we're joined by a high-performance athlete and one of the newest members of the Adelaide Giants. Welcome to the Giants family, Jessica Maslin. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much.
And Division 1 medalist as well.
And Division 1 best and fairest. Not a big deal. Grand final winner. She's now a dual premiership player.
Got them all.
Yeah, very lucky to have played for 2 different teams and been lucky enough to come away from 2 different flags.
Jess Maslin joining us. She's going to be a member of the Adelaide Giants. Well, Jess, we had Riley Yateman talk about his professional career in one of the innings. Sarah Kelly talk about the growth of baseball. You're a baseball person. We're going to get you to help call some of the action in this game. We are now up to
No pressure
Brody.
against the one and only Eric Ballner.
Well, look at who's up to bat here.
Yeah, so the rule that is the rule that we talked about from last inning. So obviously
Well, I love
the
this
runner
because
is
someone
out.
on the comment said Dunny is correct that the at-bat is complete and the runner is out. So the at-bat not complete.
No, obviously not. So they call Hutchings out for interference, and the hitter goes back to having a new at bat.
Owen Hughes up to bat. Grand final game. Jackson Brebner-Russ 1-1 count.
If I remember correctly, he was also the runner-up to Landon in the Caps.
Jackson Brebner-Russ, exactly it. Jess Maslin knowing her stuff. She was at the Caps medal and seeing what was going down as Owen Hughes strikes out. So, Jess, grand final game here for both these two teams, something that you're now becoming quite experienced with. You played in one on Friday. Do grand finals feel a little bit different than other games that you might be in?
It depends on how you really lead up to them. I know leading up to the one of Glenelg versus Southern Districts was like nothing else I had led up to. So even when I was with Gawler, it was a completely different lead up. Even going up against them on Friday night was a completely different lead up because unfortunately because of COVID, we did lose that opportunity to play the previous year. So we really wanted that. We wanted that flag. It sucks that we couldn't play it, but we had to come back this year and try to actually get the flag again, and we were lucky enough to come away with it in what was an amazing game.
Yeah, they certainly made you work for it, didn't they?
They certainly did.
You were heavily backed favourites, and it went right down to the end. So there would have been some panic stations going late into that game going, hey guys, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of nerves on that team, and I can admit my stomach was...
Brody Heaps up the middle. Tyler Chappell moves on that, makes the play at first. What an adjustment Tyler Chappell made from his last play at second. Jess Maslin, you are an infielder. We might get the replay here. I'm not sure, but walk us through it if we do just walk us through what that play would have been like as an infielder.
I don't play a lot of seconds, so I wouldn't know exactly from the second base's point of view, but definitely as long as you stay down in it, where speech can be a little bit notorious for hops, and you just have to sort of get your body behind it. Great movement, got over real quick and was able to get settled and make a pretty routine out.
Josh Cakebread back to the top of the lineup. Jackson Brebner-Russ working very well in this game. Both these pitchers, who would have thought that in a game where every player on this team bat above 300, we'd have a 1-1 game in the 5th inning?
Oh, well, that's what finals do to you. You twitch up a little bit and it becomes tight. So it's a bit of a pitcher's duel at the moment as well. I mean, the two pitchers that have been throwing have been outstanding this year as well. So that obviously helps things as well. It's not facing some guys that are probably not as strong as the two guys that are out there at the moment during the whole year. So you'd expect it to be a battle from both sides.
You'd expect it to be close, and that's exactly what we have is with a 2-0 count. Josh Cakebread steps off the plate.
Taking time, making sure he's comfortable in the box.
Oh, he's an old
Good
man.
choice. Come on.
So, Jess, what have you seen? What have you seen in the time that you've been playing baseball in South Australia? What are the changes you've seen in the women's game and where it's progressed in the time that you've been involved in it?
I'm probably one of the newer ones to baseball. I'm actually a softball transfer.
Yep.
So I've only been playing baseball for maybe 4 or 5 years. Long foul ball. I've seen it come from just the coloured teams where we were just getting women's baseball in, and then we had the introduction of, I think it was 3 or 4 club teams. And
you were on one of the first ones of that when Gawler was
yes,
playing.
I was in Gawler Rangers at that time, so we still had the coloured teams as well as some clubs coming out. I believe Glenelg, Goodwood, Gawler, and
Down the line, it's a nice play from Angus Roger. Flips over to Jackson Brebner-Russ, and they make the play as we head to the midway point of the game. Sorry, Jess Maslin joining us in the broadcast, the best and fairest of the Division I women's competition and newest member of the Adelaide Giants playing. Does that sound cool to say?
It is a little bit,
member
yeah.
of the Adelaide Giants, Jessica Maslin?
Yeah, it feels really good, actually. I'm lucky enough to share it with Alice and Carly. But yeah, it does feel good. It feels a bit strange at the moment. I think it won't sink in until that day, putting on the gear and being out there. But yeah, being in the training gear, and that's starting to make it a little bit settled in. But third time lucky, let's get this showcase going, and hopefully COVID doesn't, cross your fingers, hopefully COVID doesn't get us.
Yeah.
I've seen you around the ballpark when the Bite and the Giants have been playing, watching some of those games, and now it must be kind of cool. Like, did you even think that it would be possible to have a women's ABL team, and let alone you be playing on it?
I always thought it would be a chance, but did I ever think I would be playing on it? No. As I said, I'm one of the newer ones, so I'm not as well-versed, I should say. I think that's the only way I can think of saying it, is compared to some of the other ladies that we're playing with. But definitely think it would be a WABL.
Softball, baseball, basically the same sport, right?
Very different as well.
So are you now a dual? Are you a dual?
I'm a dual sporter, yeah.
Seacombe
you
Tigers
play
is
both,
there a club in
Premier
softball?
League, yeah. So I still play the Premier League for Seacombe. And yeah, so I play for Glenelg now.
So that's all black. You're all black and yellow,
Yeah.
right? So Seacombe's black and yellow as well, right?
Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier to have one colour in your wardrobe.
I hear.
No, it's. I actually didn't realise that I play for Tigers until someone pointed it out. A lot of Seacombe players have gone over to Glenelg, and it's like a huge family.
Is it tough making the transition when you're playing maybe one game on Friday Night Baseball and have to walk to the Diamond on Saturday afternoon? And is it a different swing? Like, is it different?
Yes, in a way, purely because the trajectory of the ball is completely different. Plus, softball, you have less time to react. So some of these girls, I think like Steph Drzezinski, Yo Grauer, people like Georgia Hood, they're all throwing very hard, very fast, and they have the ball that goes up. So keeping your hands up and going with that, and then you have, coming into baseball, you have people like Maddie, you have Shelley, who's got a completely different trajectory. You've then got 4 or 5 others that have got completely different trajectories to softball, and you just have to adjust. And to be honest, baseball has helped my softball swing, and softball has helped my baseball swing. So
Yeah, there you go.
hence why I'm still playing both.
And your softball team's in the finals, are they?
No,
or?
unfortunately not. We're in a bit of a rebuilding year.
Okay.
So yeah, so sadly we're not, but we get to cheer on the girls tomorrow at the grand final, and should be a good game.
Excellent.
Terrell Joyce up the middle. He'd been pitched balls literally all game. He finally gets one over the plate, and he sends one up the middle. Jess Maslin joining us. Jess, jump in with any of these special comments of what you see as one of the high-performance athletes. Terrell Joyce, the toughest batter you could face right now. He's batting .508.
Yeah, he's amazing. He has a lot to do with the Sturt women's, and he's not going to miss that one that goes straight to the middle. He's going to crush it. So it's a bit smart pitching balls to him. He's an extremely strong batter.
Jordan McCardle, he's got a single and a double on the game, and you can feel that this is one of those innings that you circle for Liam Scott. He's got through the lineup twice. He's got only 1 earned run and 6 strikeouts. But finally a hit to Terrell Joyce, and now Jordan McCardle. These two guys haven't got out in this part of the lineup.
This is a tough part of their lineup. There's big names, and both can definitely hit.
Yeah, it's an interesting. So the scenario that we can, as a coaching staff, we would go. Terrell can hit with no one on.
Yeah.
He hits a 1-run home run. He hits a 1-run home run. Right.
Yeah, there's
But
no extra collateral.
There's
there.
no extra collateral. So 1 run's 1 run, and someone's got to. You need to score another run to win. Right. So, but with runners on, you work very fine.
Oh, that's
McCardle
big.
hits this one back. It's to the wall, and it is going to be caught by Matt Hutchings. The wind just might have picked up at that last second. It was warning track power. Jordan McCardle knows he might have missed one, but wow, he got a good piece of it.
Oh, you can see by his reaction, he's like, I thought I had that one.
And that's where we say at West Beach, welcome to West Beach. All right?
Is that a West Beach hit?
Yeah,
there?
yeah, definitely a West Beach hit. They just hold up like nothing else.
I mean,
you
you're
get up there, it stops.
Yeah, and you're playing at Sturt, that's white, that's on the road.
You're right.
Yeah,
that is
that's
one that makes
massive.
it. It's 3-1 at Sturt right now.
Absolutely.
Because there haven't been a lot of deep fly balls until that one there.
Yeah.
It's tough with this wind because we do have the wind blowing in from centrefield. You get it up, and if it looks like it's going to go over, and all of a sudden the stereotypical West Beach wind catches it, and it
Welcome
goes
to West
straight
Beach.
back towards the infield.
Welcome to West Beach, the graveyard.
The graveyard where home runs go to die.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Jordan McCardle robbed. I was hoping he'd get one because then he'd have a single, a double, and a home run, which would have made it pretty fun. Although I don't know if I've ever seen Jordy get a triple. It would have been fun to call.
Well, it was interesting too because he hit it well enough. He trotted. He started trotting. Like he came out of the box. He had a little bat twirl as if he got that. So, and then in the end, Hutch is parked underneath and makes a routine out. So
I thought it was going to go. I thought it was going to be on the fence.
yeah.
But then all of a sudden he must have just blown in because you saw him come back towards
didn't
the
even get
infield.
to the fence.
Didn't even get anywhere
there.
close to it.
Jordan McCardle robbed of that home run by the West Beach wind. Dylan Ridding, he struck out twice today. What a performance from Liam Scott on the mound. Getting West Beach to give him a little bit of an assist there. But can he get a double play ball? This one
Oh, so he has a
chopped,
chance.
and it's a diving play. It was a good effort from Jeremy Creswell. There's no way that'll be scored in error. That was just a good job to keep that in the infield.
Yeah, that's a hit. That goes down as a hit, definitely.
And one of the most agile people I've ever seen, Jeremy. At peak 24, he'd be showing us all these movements we had to do for high performance, and we'd just be standing there going,
Like, what's that? I don't even
like,
think I
how?
can get my leg there.
how are you doing that?
Yeah.
Peak 24 that is one of the big sponsors of Baseball SA. Jeremy Creswell works there. Mark Haylock running that. Chloe was worked there for a little bit, involved with
I think
Sturt.
she's still there. I think Chloe's still
yeah, I
there.
think
So
she
Jess,
is.
do you go there?
We went there for high performance, so a lot of our training, we would do 1 or 2 sessions a week with Jeremy and his team, doing strength workout, flexibility, working on our strength and balance at peak 24, and he was able to give us a whole big plan of what we're supposed to be doing to make ourselves stronger and more stable and basically prevent ourselves from getting injured, which was great over the long season.
Yep, and they're still involved now, and they're in the HP program again this year. So the athletes will go down there in the off season and work out, get bigger and stronger and more flexible as well this season. So with the oversight of Riley as well.
Angus Roger takes a pitch over the plate.
This lineup does not give up, does it?
No, so it hits pretty deep.
Mitch Lightbody is standing on deck, so it really doesn't get
It
easier.
really doesn't get easy.
Imagine if Rickson Wingrove was in the lineup as Roger chops at that, called strike, and runners on a pass ball as he swung at one way outside are going to second and third.
How many are down?
One.
One
One
down.
down. So Sack Fly could score a run here.
Yeah, it's a great point, Jess, because that's a huge mistake because that in that pass ball at least because exactly that. You know, you have a runner 90 feet away and just a fly ball scores him.
And this batting lineup, as we said, doesn't let up. They're all big hitters. They're all very strong guys. Anything like that home run that was robbed by the outfield, that can score 1, maybe 2 runs, depends on how much wheels your runner on two's got. So it's worth a chance of. All it is a high fly ball now.
He's not going to get it because Angus Roger just becomes the 7th strikeout victim of the day for Liam Scott.
Commentator's curse. My bad.
He's got a lot of outs with runners in scoring position tonight, hasn't he? And they've all been strikeouts. They haven't been plays. They've all been like 2 innings ago, runners at first and second, 1 out, punch out, punch out. Next innings, runners at first and second, punch out, punch out. And again here, runners at second and third with 1 out, punch out. So Liam's doing everything he possibly can to keep Goodwood in the game here.
And someone that we know means a lot to him, someone that was overlooked very much of his entire junior career, worked his way as a Division III player. He just busted on the scene. As this one, it's just going to be a shallow fly ball in the infield. Now they got to find it in the wind. Josh Cakebread isn't going to miss that. Liam Scott gets out of the jam, and we're through 5. It's a 1-1 game. It's a tight game. We'll still stick it right here with Jess Maslin as you see a look at the replay. In a tight game, Jess, was that fair to say that that was probably the highest pressure baseball game you played in? Or I could be wrong in that it's you, so you tell me.
Southern Districts always give us a really, really good run. No matter where we play, what game it's playing, it can be a minor round game, it can be a final. They always push us to the limit. They've got some great players and they don't give up. That's the thing. They do not give up. Not that any of the girls do, but they just do not give up, and they had nothing to lose. They came out hard, and we were lucky that they got one, we got one. They got one, we got one, and then we were able to get away in that. I think it was the 5th or 6th inning. We were extremely lucky, but every time we play Southern Districts, it's a really tough game, and it made for great viewing, and we were lucky enough that some of the juniors from the presentation came across, and hopefully we can aspire from some of them, maybe their sisters, I know friends, cousins. We might be able to get some more junior teams coming through and hopefully be able to develop the women even further.
So in a grand final situation for these players out here, they're in exactly your same situation. Both teams kind of trading opportunities and shot. It's a 1-1 game. We're now into the latter half of the game. As a player for both of you in these big games, do you tell yourself mental notes? Like, walk me through what you're thinking and how you're hyping yourself up.
Depends on where I'm playing, really. If I'm catching, I'm sort of trying not to distract myself, but it's the only way I can think of. Going, okay, so I know this player did this last innings. I know a lot of the girls who are playing. So, okay, I'm going to put this here because they're stronger on the inside, they're stronger on the outside. This is where they hit. Okay, so we've got a runner in 2, so we want to make sure that she's not able to get a full swing in. We want to hit work to our weaker side. We want to sort of see what we can do. But if I'm at first base or third base, I'm sort of going, okay, so I'm here, I'm going to be going to here, I'm going here, I'm going here. So it's sort of working around what your position means to that game and what you can bring from that position. So what about you?
Well, I guess we're a little bit more structured than the ABL. We've got booklets of what guys do,
which is different than even what the SABL might have too.
Absolutely, we've got heat maps and we've got hitting zones of where you hit your best pitches and where the shifts with the infielders, and we move guys on pitch counts, let alone at bats.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very, very in depth and structured, especially the ABL level of the information that you now get through.
Creswell swings at this. This going into an awkward spot over to left field. Jordan McCardle moves under that, and he makes the out.
Yeah, through TrackMan and Rapsodo and all the other stuff that we've got available now, you get information overload on everything that goes on. So it's a little bit of a different concept to club ball, where you just you look at stats here and go, well, he's doing this and he's hit balls here and whatever, and you move them around, but ABL level, it's
a next level.
It's a completely different ball game.
It's funny, even with state, it's like in between that again. So we have books, but they're not probably as detailed as yours.
Yeah,
we don't have heat maps where we have, okay, this is what they've done this whole tournament, this is what they've done previously.
Yep.
Yeah, not quite ABL standard, but like there's like a couple of different ranks from that.
Yeah, and we even go to the lengths that the minor leaguers that come here and play from teams overseas, we get all their heat maps as well. Right. So we get their maps from last year about where
the information sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. We get all that information from their minor league teams, and we know where guys hit balls and where guys, they can run, or they can do all sorts of different things, and we've got all that information at our fingertips, which makes it even more strategic than it already is. So it's it's an interesting time. It's
like a game of chess.
It is. It's a very strategic game. It really is.
Takes a big hack at that. He's over for a strike. It's a 1-2 count. Very patient batter. Jackson Brebner-Russ really has been pretty good all day. He's had a couple hit by pitch. He's had a walk. He's only allowed 2 hits, unfortunately for him. They came back-to-back in the 4th inning when Matt Hutchings had a single, and then Brandon Pett had a single that scored Matt Hutchings to make it a 1-1 game. Riley Moore offers at this. It's lifted again, sort of soft contact, and it is caught at the edge of the dirt by Mitch Lightbody. That's out number 2. Both teams have, for the most part, induced a lot of soft contact, both sides.
Yep. It's certainly turning into a bit of a pitcher's duel at the moment, isn't it? So, and this is where you need to have good defense, because one mistake can blow it open.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't know how bad the wind's out there at the moment, but I know.
Look at the flagpole. Not a lot.
Pretty
yeah, but
still.
even when you're out, the flag may not be moving, but you can still feel it as a fielder. Like, it goes up and it just starts swirling. So even that hit from Riley, yes, it went up really high, but you still had to get underneath it. And sometimes the higher it goes, the more you have time to think about it.
Yep.
So you sort of think, am I going to be able to get this? Am I in a position? Where am I going? Sometimes those line drives are a little bit easier to catch than the high fly balls.
I think the thing here too at West Beach too, it plays mind games with you because it always blows. and you think when it's not blowing, it's still blowing, right? Because you think it's always going to come back towards the infield,
Yep.
and your mind just thinks, oh, it can't possibly be still here. The ball's going to have to come back to the infield. And when it doesn't, it catches you unawares, and sometimes you make mistakes.
Dylan Child is the batter.
So, Jess, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years with the baseball programs, and what would you like to see happen in regards to the programs getting stronger and
As
you
Child
guys having
swings at
more
that top
opportunities to play at different levels over the years to come? What would you like to see happen with the women's game?
Just more growth. So we're lucky enough, I think it's 21 odd teams this year through 3 divisions. So that's massive compared to 4 or 5 years ago when we only had 4 teams. So if we can still see that development go and get bigger, yes. Can we get some more girls up into the high performance? Can we get more girls into this ABL squad and maybe even to the Emeralds? Getting them into those teams and just making sure that SA is sort of cemented on the map is we're a really good producer of really high quality baseball players. So hopefully we can continue to do that and we can make basically women's baseball just as big.
Yep.
Dylan Child steps in, a player for the Adelaide Bite for a couple years. That'll be a pretty cool feeling. I'm sure that's on Easter Saturday. You can come watch Jessica Maslin and the rest of the Adelaide Giants, some of the best players in town, play in the Women's Baseball Showcase. 2-2 pitch coming. Child chop back towards Jackson Brebner-Russ. It's an easy out, and it's a second straight 1, 2, 3 inning from JBR. Both these pitchers have performed really well. JBR through 6 relatively clean innings, just the 1 run given up.
So are you wearing Adelaide Giants uniforms?
Yeah, we've got specialty women's uniforms. So we've got the Giants uniforms. They're slightly different to the men's. Similar colours, but just slightly
Sunday
different style.
red, baby.
Are you wearing Sunday
We're
red?
wearing the Reds. So
So there's story behind. I don't know if you know, but the story behind that is we were, with Tiger, we were Sunday red. So, but the boys ended up really loving red, and we played in red a lot more than we played in any other colour.
yeah, so we've got red and blue because obviously we're hoping to go down to Brisbane as long as everything stays as it is. We're hoping to go down to Brisbane and play in Brisbane as well.
Well, there's been a pitching change, it looks like, for the Goodwood Indians, which will bring the end to Liam Scott's day. What a performance he had. He allows just the 1 earned run. You go from a guy with absolutely no big game experience in Liam Scott, who was excellent today. Let's give him a big shout out. Only a handful of hits. He had 7 strikeouts, most of them with 2 outs, in and out of trouble all day, giving a team a chance to win. For a guy with more experience than pretty much anybody in the state, Darren Fidge comes onto the mound. He's won 5 premierships, all with Goodwood. He's won 3 Caps medals. He's appeared for Team Australia. He pitched all for the Adelaide Giants when you played on the team back in the 1990s. He pitched for the Adelaide Bite. He made his debut in the ABL in 1989 as a 15-year-old before every single player on Sturt's team except Paul Holmes was even born. You think he's got a little bit of experience in a big game?
Yeah, well, Fidji was my teammate for probably 8 years when I was at the ABL level. So that tells you how young he is, obviously. But no, he's always been one of those guys that has been a little rubber in the sense of how it is. A fit dude. He was a fit guy. From 18 onwards, he could run and just run and run and run and run. And obviously, staying fit and flexible and healthy has helped him keep playing the game right out till now.
Didn't pitch in the series last week in the prelim final, but he had the 2 wins in the series versus West Torrens.
He's definitely one of the legends of the game, isn't he? So, actually, to be honest, his whole family are pretty up there in their own sports.
Diamond Sports, yeah.
Yeah, Diamond Sports, even I believe on the backfield has got the Fidge name on it as well. So it's definitely a family that knows its way around ball and bat sport.
No, absolutely. If he was a racehorse, he'd have plenty of good ones out there, I'd reckon.
Would he be the far lap of baseball?
Well, he may be the McCoy. Yeah, he may well be the far lap of baseball.
He is pitching right now in the grand final series. His daughter Millie and his daughter Ruby, but Millie, one of the key star players of Sturt Baseball Club, or Sturt Softball Club, sorry, as Macbeth swings through that, chop foul. Tomorrow night, there is a chance that Darren Fidge and Millie Fidge both win a premiership in their respective competitions. A softball diamond just about 50 meters to our left.
That would be a big celebration in the Fitch household if that certainly happens. I think Annie and Ruby would definitely be around that as well.
Hit hard, Macbeth, that goes foul. He's just a competitor, Darren Fidge, in every thing he goes about his business.
Oh, absolutely. That's why he's still playing the sport at 700 years old. That's just how he rolls. So I spoke to him last week and I said, isn't it about time you retired? He goes, Dunny, I'm going to do this until I can't do it any longer.
Yeah, we talked to him on the Adelaide Giants Show podcast, and I asked him flat out, has retirement ever crossed his mind? And he said, nope, hasn't crossed his mind. He's going to pitch at the top level as long as there's a role for him.
I think his arm would have to fall off before Fidji retired, to be honest.
This one is chopped over towards the right field. Soft contact again, but that's going to fall in front of Owen Hughes. And it's a base hit for Matt Macbeth as an outfielder. Dunny, what are you seeing here?
Well, that was sort of strange. I thought he was camped underneath it there for a while. His obviously first steps were not in, and he was playing a little bit to pull in that right centre gap. And as you said, the soft contact falls in for another hit for Macbeth. That's his second, right? He hit a double his last at bat, and another base hit to right field.
Sometimes those do all the damage as well. They just fall in that no man's land, and they just hurt you.
Those little flares.
I think that's unfortunately what happened on the weekend, on Friday for us.
Paul Holmes lays down a bunt. Darren Fidge diving for that, picks it up, scoops to first, got the out. No, he's called safe because I don't think he caught the ball. He was ready to call out. Darren Fidge with a great second out.
I thought he caught him off the base then for a second, but no, he didn't even have the ball.
Here it is, Darren Fidge, scorpion style, flip to first.
Did it hit the runner's foot?
Yeah, it did. I'm not sort of sure what Fidji was doing there. He dove at a ball he was never going to catch.
Oh, come on. At least give him the confidence if he had at least a chance.
Yeah, the thing is, though, he if he doesn't do that, he just picks up and gets out. So, as a coach, the worst-case scenario you say there is getting out.
Getting out, yeah.
Right,
Get the easy out.
So you don't get out, and now Sonny Beaumont comes up and he does the same thing here. He bunts and puts the runners at second and third, puts them in scoring position and tries to get to the top of the lineup to score a couple of runs.
Tyler Chappell is the batter.
Ooh.
Interesting here, they're not choosing to
Punt him.
To move guys over sort of late in the game. I thought,
especially with the 9-hole.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. I mean, the guy can run though too, so he's probably hard to double up in this situation as well. So you let him swing freely and see what happens.
Tyler Chappell over a 300 hitter, but then again, who isn't in this lineup? There he is, showing bunt, backs it up. Darren Fidge wanting the call, saying he went around. He did not go around. The umpire down at third base, Payne Souter, says.
You kind of wonder, now he's had a bit of a swing, he's had a bit of a look at the bunt, what's he going to do from now on? So is he going to put that down? Is he going down third? Is he going down first? What's he going to do?
I think Goodwood just play reg here. They don't crash on the play, and hopefully he puts it down the first. No, they do crash.
There he is. When you say crash, you mean it's the baseman coming in.
Yeah, so the third baseman and the first baseman crash on the play, so they try and get the concept of this is to get the out at third, right? So you crash on the play, the ball goes on the ground, the first baseman or the third baseman picks it up, throws the ball to the shortstop and gets the out at third.
It's a bit of pressure on the batter as well, because if you get two people, especially these Div 1 guys, they're very tall, solid guys, they're very strong as well. If you have two of those running straight at you, plus the pitch coming at you while you're trying to square up, sometimes it can be enough just to get the batter to jump a little bit and that ball goes up or that ball goes foul or something like that.
Happening again. Tyler Chappell lays down the bunt, picked up, throw over to third. Do they get the lead runner? He's safe.
Oh, he's safe.
No.
I thought he got him.
Payne Souter saying he's safe. Jeremy Creswell not happy at all.
No.
And there's Ben Wigmore, the coach of Goodwood, fired up. Dunny doesn't like the call on his first instincts.
I thought he had him. What about you? I thought it just beat him there. Here we go.
Here's a take a look at the replay. Yep.
To me, that looked out. But
you can see Welsh crashed in. Oh, he's out by a little bit there.
Oh, that's going to put the pressure on.
Creswell can't believe it. Yeah, I don't know if we'll have another look at that replay again, but yeah, he looked like when his foot was on the bag as he was diving in the air feet first.
Wondering if the feet just got in just before the ball was actually settled in his glove. Here we go again.
That's out.
Yeah, that's out.
That's out.
His feet are in the air over the bag as
They
that
haven't made
comes in.
contact.
So Wigmore not happy, and now this is the biggest jam Goodwood have been in all night. It's bases loaded, and it comes off of a 3 kind of misplays. One that you thought the right fielder should have had, one that was probably a misplayed bunt to get a runner on, and then probably a missed call at third. It's a tough one to make. You never envy the umpires in those situations. It's tough, especially in a grand final. But Goodwood might be a bit hard done by in this situation. A little bit from their own doing and a little bit maybe from external factors.
Yeah, well, the baseball world, they always say there's an innings that blows it open, right? There's always one innings in a game that makes a difference in a game. So,
and that hits Nucky in the head, and that's going to score a run.
Oh, surely that has to hurt slightly. Come on.
It'll sort of ring your ears a little.
Oh, I've been hit in the head before with a ball, and you hear it in your ears for a good minute or two afterwards, and sometimes shaking it off doesn't quite do the same, but unfortunately, it does do what he needs to do and pushes that run around.
I think that just slipped out of Darren Fidge's hand a bit, and unfortunately, it catches Harry Nucky in the noggin, and now it's bases loaded, no out, and Terrell Joyce up to bat. You can't intentionally walk him. That'll score a run. You have to be very careful here. First pitch swing, and it's a bleeder into the outfield. That scores 1 run. Runner being sent around. He's going to scamper back to third. It was a good throw in, but the hit parade continues, and it's a 3-1 Goodwood lead thanks to Terrell Joyce.
Apart from a strikeout or an out, that's probably the next best thing with Terrell batting.
Yep.
Yeah, he got soft contact. Unfortunately, it just found a soft spot for Goodwood.
Well, it's all been soft so far. Like, Fidge's faced 5 hitters here, and not one guy's hit the ball hard. So
Unlucky to be no outs, bases loaded, and 2 runs across the board.
that's the game we play, man. That's the game we play.
There's always one innings that catches you out, and no matter if you're playing men's, women's, juniors, seniors, there's always one innings sometimes that catches you out, and this might be the innings for Sturt.
Jordan McCardle, first pitch swing. That finds a gap. That scores a run, and they keep moving them around. Another single, not hard contact. Jordan McCardle, have yourself a day. It's his 3rd hit. It's his 2nd RBI.
Just fighting those gaps, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's where that play at third makes it all the tougher to swallow here for Ben Wigmore walking out onto the mound to have a chat with Fidge here. So,
do you think they're just trying to calm down or talk strategy? What do you think?
No, it's probably just a rest. I mean, Fidge and Riley have been around a long time. It's just it's a break for Fidge. It's we'll just have a quiet chat to him, but it's more to just give him a little bit of a breather at this time, and more than anything else, just to chill out and let the guys take it in for 5 seconds and get set again.
Well, this is an unfortunate inning, Jess and Dunny, because Matt Macbeth hits to right field on a play that he probably could have had out. Then it was a bunt or that little chopped play right in the infield to Paul Holmes. He reaches on first. Tyler Chappell bunts. There was the call at third, and he reaches. Then Harry Nucky hit by pitch, and Terrell Joyce and Jordan McCardle just the softest little shots.
Yeah, and that's the game we play. Right?
That's
baseball.
baseball.
Just how it is. That's just how it is. So they need to just regroup again here and just get themselves an out one at a time and try and stop the scoring and get back into the dugout and try and catch the runs back.
Is it a matter of keeping this game in reach now?
In a way. Well, I know from my point of view, I'd be looking at, okay, what's the way we can stem this bleeding?
Another first pitch swing. It seems to be what they are doing. It's a fly ball to right field. Runner going to go play at the plate, and he got him out. What a throw in from Owen Hughes, who makes the play. It's 2 outs on 1 pitch, and that lightens the pressure a little bit for Goodwood.
That momentum has definitely shifted after that one. That was a great throw.
Yeah, it's a great play by Owen out there.
Making up for that on maybe a misplay earlier, but that gets the lead runner, Harry Nucky, on the 9-1 putout. Now all of a sudden it's 2 outs with 2 runners on, but it's all been first pitch swings.
And again, another soft contact.
Darren Fidge unlucky to have those 3 runs to his name right now. It's a 4-1 ball game. 3 runs coming this inning. Angus Roger up to bat. One swing of the bat can really bust this one open.
What would you do? What would you do in this situation? What would your call be?
In regards to what exactly?
How would you try to get this? I think you might have to answer my own question. Is it fair?
No.
No, I was gonna say, I'm like, how would you go ahead of sort of getting that third out and
it's
stem the bleeding?
So the big thing here, Rogues doesn't run really well as well. So you play your infielders a little deeper as well. So you trying to get a ground ball double play here. So you just you can be a little bit fine as well with Rogues. He hasn't had a great night with the bat. So. They're just looking for a ground ball to try and turn a double play and get out of the innings here.
Well, they've got two. They've already got two. They just need the one out.
They only need the one out.
Oh, okay.
A fly ball and then the out at home.
The play. Yeah, you're right. So
Anything will do.
anything will do.
Anything will do.
Anything will do. Anything will do here. So, but again, you probably don't throw something that Rogues can hit here. 0-2. Fiji's been around a long time. This will either be down in the dirt, I would think, or up high.
And again inside. There's been 3 hit batters combined from the Goodwood pitchers today. Liam Scott, a great performance on the mound. He goes 5 innings. I would be surprised if he used all of his pitch count, and you never know in a grand final. You empty the tank, he might be around to pitch an inning if required on Sunday.
Yep. No, he'll definitely throw on the weekend more than this.
He's not very old, is he?
No, not at all. Angus Roger chopped foul. So a big inning from Sturt. Lots happening. And that call at third base will be one that I think Ben Wigmore will be looking back on as soon as this game is over.
Might be replayed a few times. What do you think here? What happened here?
Angus Roger trying to bust this game open. They've got 3 very much in reach for Goodwood. There's no time limit on these Division I games in the finals. It's 9 innings. Outside, good block from Riley Moore. That stops a runner from moving into third base, and maybe another one in scoring position.
That 90 feet could be very valuable if something does go a little bit into a soft area or something like that. So great block by Riley there.
Terrell's not the fastest guy in the world though either, so that's...
It's okay.
It's okay, but come on, it's still a good block.
Roger settles in. Swings at this, doesn't find a gap, it gets through both of them. Terrell Joyce gets the wave around third. There's going to be a play at the plate. The throw will be errant, and Terrell Joyce scores on an Angus Roger single.
He's happy with that.
Just a ground ball with eyes there that guy just happened to get through. So, again, another softly hit ball. You know, Fiji's not having a lot of luck here. There's a lot of soft contact scoring a lot of runs.
Yeah, that is... unfortunate.
But you've got to give it to him. He's not getting bombs hitting off of him. He's not getting ones right on the fence line. So he's definitely doing what he's meant to do. Unfortunately, they're just finding the gaps.
Yep. You can't have fielders everywhere.
It'd be nice if you could, though.
Oh, my God.
Mitch Lightbody, over 3. This is already the 4th time through for Sturt. And this is the 9th batter in the inning.
Really?
Jeez.
It is piled on quick in what is now a 5-1 game.
Nothing's impossible to come back from, though. You never know. Goodwood could come back in the next inning and do exactly the same to them. So
that's only the bottom of the 6,
yeah,
isn't it?
It's bottom 6, yeah. So it's nothing's unable to be basically taken back.
Well, the game is still slammable. That's probably when you start to hit the panic button a little bit.
There's plenty of game left yet, so don't.
And it's the best batting lineup in the competition. Jackson Brebner Russ. You got to figure his day is getting towards the end of it. He's already gone through 6 innings. Hard hit ball over to third. Welshie blocks it, but it still gets through. Rumbling around third base. Jordan McCardle is gonna score. The hit parade keeps on coming. Mitch Lightbody drives in a run. It's a 5-run lead for Sturt.
That was a rocket back at third base then. Did it take a weird hop, or did it was just a rocket?
Yeah, it's just hit hard. Wilshie just didn't pick it, so that's again unfortunate.
A tough lineup again. I mean a tough lineup for a few unfortunate things to happen against. They certainly put the pressure on you, and now the man that got the first hit of the inning and then scored that first run in Matt Macbeth comes for his 2nd at-bat of the inning and his 4th of the day. He's 2 for 3.
There's that
opposite
hard ball.
field.
Is that fair?
Hard hit ball back. And it is just foul.
Foul. That's probably the hardest hit ball Fiji's had all the time he's been in. So, did we throw the commentator's curse on him a little bit by saying he'd already had soft hits?
Maybe.
That's how it works.
Well, that was about a foot away from being all sorts of trouble for the Goodwood Indians.
I don't think Fiji's going to be putting it there again.
It'll be interesting to see how he handles this one.
The 0-1 count to Matt Macbeth.
Oh.
And he hits him. The fourth hit batter of the day. That is, the ball's just slipping away. It's a second hit by pitch of the inning for Darren Fidge. And now the bases are loaded once again. And Paul Holmes, who's already reached and scored, he comes up. It's 6-1. If the game wasn't busted open already, this is a chance to make it really say goodnight.
Well, this is where the selection table either works or it doesn't right here with Paul Holmes not playing a Division 1 game all year and
getting the call up for the grand final.
Tonight, so.
Well, he is 1 for 2 with a walk and a run. So he's off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, he's had a great night.
Can't complain when that's your stats on your first Div 1.
He's in there for a hit already. He was a key part of that Sturt team that last one in 2019. Fiji gets one over the plate. It's a 1-1 count.
Be interesting to see how Fiji pitches this one as well. Being that he hasn't played a lot of Div 1, he wouldn't really know much about how he's been hitting this year, would he?
Oh, no one would know anything about him if he's played Division 2 all year, so...
Well, he hits one pretty good. Paul Holmes has scored 1 run. Paul Holmes might score 2. Play at the plate. Mitch Lightbody slides in. The Sturt fans erupt. And it's turned into a real crooked inning for Sturt. They're up 7 runs.
Saints to come back hard right here.
Yeah, and it's just messed up my scorecard and all you folks scoring at home. Tyler Chappell will come up to bat. And Ben Wigmore is going to make a pitching change. It has turned ugly here for Goodwood as this will be the 10th batter. Now, Dunny, unfortunately, the Giants ended up with a couple on the wrong side of a couple crooked innings this year. When you're a coach on that team, what are you saying? What are you doing to help get your guys settled down when these scenarios are happening?
Well, what you do here is you don't give up on the game, but you probably just see what happens with your position players now with Welshie coming on the hill. So you save your guys a little bit for tomorrow. So you go, okay, well, if we can't win tonight, then we need to come out and win two tomorrow. So you're not going to throw your known pitches in this
so
situation.
That's Matty Watkins who could come in.
So you wouldn't throw
John
Matty.
Challenor.
No, you wouldn't throw either of those guys today because then who do you throw tomorrow? So you got to win. You're looking at it right now. This is maybe getting close to being unobtainable to get this game. So, okay, we need to win in Game 2 and Game 3, so we save all of our pitching for tomorrow. Exactly what we did with the Giants. You know, we had blowout games where, you know, it was 18-1 or 18-5 or whatever, but we didn't use any pitches. And then the next day we came out and you
win the game.
You have all your pitching stuff and you win games.
I mean, the Giants, every time the Giants got beat badly, to say it, they bounced back in the regular season and won. Yeah. Every single time in the year, and it'd probably be because of that. Yeah, and
we play a wonderful sport where you don't have it's not a 1-game final or a 1-game year.
It's a 3-game playoff.
And in a 40 game ABL season, you're not going to win. You're not going to go 40-0. I don't care who you are, right? So you lose. You pick your battles, and maybe you lose a couple of battles, but you win the war later on. So, and this is a situation exactly like that now. So you save all your pitching for tomorrow. Well, she's not a known pitcher. He comes in, tries to stop the bleeding. If they happen to score some more runs and get back into it, you then may come in with a known pitcher to win the game if you're in that situation. But a known pitcher doesn't come in this situation unless you get in front.
Well, every player in Sturt's lineup, except for Dylan Ridding, has scored in this inning. Well, that's not true. Harry Nucky didn't score. 7 of them have scored in a 7-run inning. It's 8-1. The mercy rule is 10 runs after 7 innings.
Even in the finals?
Even in the finals.
Oh, yeah, right.
So now a base hit here with runners on first and second, and that starts to become an interesting conversation. Tyler Chappell is the batter. It's a first pitch swing, and again, it's in an awkward spot. Throw over to first, it's wayward, and that's going to score a run. The throw gets away from him. That's Matt Macbeth who scores his second run of the inning. Paul Holmes goes to third. Tyler Chappell uses his speed just like he did on that bang bunt play earlier. He's on first in that. Now, that was a really tough spot, but now it's a 9-1 game with Harry Nucky coming up to bat. It's gone sideways in a hurry for Goodwood.
The thing is here, if Nucky just got on one and hit a home run and put some 10 in front, they need 3 outs, game's over.
Did Stephen Welsh probably think in a 1-1 game at the start of this inning, he would have never thought this would be a scenario coming in the same inning?
No, that's exactly right. And now how important is that call at third now?
Incredibly crucial.
Oh.
So Harry Nucky back at the top of the lineup. Crucial out for Stephen Welsh because Terrell Joyce and Jordan McCardle are the next 2 batters up.
Doesn't get any easier, does it?
That does not get any easier. That's what's strange because, like, for women, we only...
Here's a hard hit ball. Line out towards left field. It drops in front. It scores a run. That is run number 9 of the inning. It's a 10-run game. Paul Holmes scores. And Harry Nucky has an RBI in this inning. It has got ugly in a hurry with Terrell Joyce coming up to bat.
I was just going to say, like, it's weird coming from a women's perspective because we only play a 1-game championship series. We only have 1 game, and if a game like this goes sour, like, it's a bit different to men's where you do have the opportunity to put some pitchers' arms on ice and get them ready for the next game. We go, okay, we're going to bounce back and get the other 2.
Yep.
So it's a bit weird me thinking what would I do in this situation in a one-game championship series compared to a 3-game.
Yep. Same with softball where you're coming from too. It's the 1 game.
Yeah, it's just 1.
This is the 15th batter of the inning, or 14th batter of the inning. Sorry, for Sturt. Much better than 15. And Terrell Joyce getting pitched cagey a bit here. It's a 10-1 game. It all started with Matt Macbeth and that ball that dropped in front of Owen Hughes. We're forgetting there was a great bang double play from a catch and then throw out at the plate. This inside once again.
Yeah, the catch and the throw to get Nucky out at home as well.
Yep, to get Harry Nucky out. He was the second out of the inning. The first out of the inning was Dylan Ritting, who flew out there, and Terrell Joyce gets walked. That's his 3rd walk of the day and his 2nd at-bat of the inning. And now Jordan McCardle, who is 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs, a single and a double. There's been no big play that scored 2 or 3 runs in one shot in this inning.
I think there was only 1 that scored 2, wasn't it?
Yep, there's only been 1 that scored 2. It was Terrell Joyce or it was Harry Nucky with a hit by pitch that scored 1 run. Terrell Joyce, a single, that scored 1 run. Jordan McCardle, a single, that scored 1 run. Angus Roger, a single, scored 1 run. Light Body, a single, scored 1 run. Light Body scored 2, and then it's all been just chipping away, single. And now with Jordan McCardle up to bat, a run here puts him in mercy territory.
It's just finding those real soft spots out in the outfield, just in between players and just through different, like the 4-hole and stuff like that. Sometimes they can be the ones that do the damage compared to one straight over the fence.
Yeah, they've all done damage in this innings, that's for sure.
Oh, that's for sure. Having runners on base makes everything interesting.
McCardle stays alive, chops it foul. It's a 1-2 count coming up. McCardle, 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs.
Been massive momentum shifts in this innings alone. You had Sturt we're getting heaps of runs and momentums in their court. Then all of a sudden the double play gets the out at home momentum shifts, and now we're back in Sturt having the momentum with another few runs. So it's just like that, just click your fingers, momentum shift in just the 1 innings.
Jordan McCardle is 3 for 4 on the day. Entering the game in the playoffs, he was 2 for 9 with 9 walks in 4 games.
Wow.
A very patient approach. He's tough to get out. And he just misses this one. It's a jam shot. It's up in the air. Riley Moore tracking it. I don't think he has enough room. So Jordan McCardle stays alive in what is the 15th batter of the inning.
So we just got a message come through from Rickson Wingrove. He said give him a shout out. So we're obviously not on the TV, but Rickson, we hope you
Yeah,
we hope
Rickson.
you arrived in Florida safe and sound, which you obviously have, and we hope you have a
McCardle,
good
hard
season.
hit ball to right field, and
Drops again.
it drops again. It scores 1 run. It scores 2 runs. It is a 4-hit, 4 RBI day for Jordan McCardle. And this inning is ballooning even more, making it a 12-run game. It's Jordan McCardle's second hit and 3rd RBI of the inning. Wow.
Well, so it's a good thing and a bad thing here, because now you're in that mercy. So in the end, Goodwood probably go, that's not a bad thing, because we don't have to play 9 innings and find more pitching, right?
Yeah, but on the other hand, Sturt could get through the entire game just using 1 pitcher.
I think you would do that anyway.
When you're losing 12-1, yeah, you're probably just throwing Jackson out there. Jackson's going to be a guy that's going to be hitting tomorrow, maybe catching, maybe playing at third base. He's played a few different positions this year. He'll be in the lineup. There's no doubt about that. He might just be DHing. We'll see. But he's going to be a bat in the lineup, no question, tomorrow.
Yep, definitely.
Another
one.
shot, soft hit that scores a run. Dylan Ridding gets a hit and an RBI, and you have to feel good for him. It would suck if he was the 1st and 3rd out of the inning.
You can't write this script, though. What's that now? It's
16
It
batters
is
now?
Yeah, this is the 17th batter coming up. It's 12 runs in the inning. It's got to be a lot.
There's always that 1 innings, and this one's just a bit bigger than normal.
You think?
It's got to. If I was Goodwood, I would be feeling a little bit like, what could we do? What's this going to mean for us? But
all they want to do now is get an out.
yeah, they just want to get that out.
One
And
out.
that out's coming hard.
It's weird how sometimes when you're batting, it can feel like it's impossible to get a hit, and then sometimes it's like, how do you even get an out in this game?
Yep, exactly.
This is where the mental side of this game comes in a lot as well.
And this
Just
is where
keeping
they're
yourself
just
calm.
Yeah, they're just going, can you just hit it at someone? Hit it at someone.
Angus Roger, his second at bat, if he can get on base here, we would see every single member of Sturt's lineup bat twice in the inning. This is number 17.
Oh my God.
I don't even think I've seen an innings go this long.
Scorers, if you're listening to this broadcast, how's your scorecard looking?
Yeah, there'd be a lot of colours on it,
I'll
wouldn't there?
say it'd be very coloured in. Actually, to be fair, I think I actually have played in a 13, 14 run innings, and it doesn't feel good on the other side.
No, I'm sure it's not.
Oh my goodness.
I think we played one at Nationals one year. I think the score ended up something crazy like 27-6 or something like that, and there was one innings that just went forever.
An ugly one for Goodwood. Roger swings through that. It's a strikeout for Stephen Welsh. But 17 batters come to bat. 12 runs cross the plate. Goodwood supporters left stunned. Sturt supporters left celebrating as we've come to the end of the 6th. Jess Maslin, thank you. You got more than you bargained for when you agreed to come on in this one.
Absolutely.
But
Sturt will want you back up here tomorrow.
Sturt, yeah,
Maybe they
if things are
will.
going wrong, they'll give you a call for Sturt. Jess, thank you so much for joining us in the broadcast booth. Best of luck as you get ready for the Adelaide Giants and Brisbane Bandits Velo Women's Baseball Showcase.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for
Thanks,
joining
Jess.
us, Jess Maslin. And Michael Dunn, who I didn't think that when we started that 6th inning, we would be turning it over to the 7th and saying, well, we're 3 outs away from this one being over.
Yeah, it's sort of come out of nowhere, hasn't it? In a hurry too. It's I think everyone's a bit shocked, to be honest, to how it's all sort of panned out here. And
I think the shocking thing is it was a big inning, but there were no big hits.
No.
There was not one ball that was a monster shot off the wall. There wasn't a home run. It was all bleeders to the outfield singles, and like maybe you get 1 or 2 an inning, but are you kidding? It was literally like 10 soft hit balls.
yeah, and they all just kept finding gaps or a few mistakes in the field. I'm a bit shocked by it all, to be honest.
So Jackson Brebner-Russ, who's been ticking along quite well. This has to be a bit hard for him, I'm sure. You know, he's in a bit of a rhythm. He's pitching very, very well. 6 strikeouts. He's retired the last 7 batters that he's faced. He's got consecutive 1, 2, 3 innings. He's just had to have that half-hour, 40-minute gap between pitches. That can't be easy as a pitcher.
No, it's certainly not. If you sort of sit that long, normally your day's over.
Stephen Welsh will try to keep this ball game alive. He's going to have to help propel Goodwood to at least 3 runs in this inning for it not to be a mercy rule game. And he starts it off with a hard-hit ball, well tracked from Angus Roger, who flips to Brebner Russ. And that is a nice defensive play from the veteran first baseman.
Yeah, that was a great play.
Here's a look at this. Roger just traps it, stops his momentum, and flicks to Jackson Brebner Russ. What a performance Jackson has had today.
When you're hot, you're hot, right? When you're hot, you're hot. Everything falls your way, and the game's been opened up really, really quickly.
Matt Hutchings up to bat. He's got hit by a pitch, and he's had a single. And that's where Sturt, probably both teams, starting to race a little bit ahead to what you do tomorrow.
Absolutely.
You are right. It is the beauty of it. It's a one-run game. Is a little bleeder out towards center field. The players collide. A good effort made on that by Mitch Lightbody, and every hit is a little, so lack of a better word, a cheapie that is coming out.
That's a cheapie there. That probably goes down as an error, but miscommunication between Mitch and Tyler there, and the ball falls in to put a runner on first.
Brendan Pett steps up. He's got the lone RBI. Oh, sorry, we've got a pinch hitter, but Brendan Pett was in his position where he had an RBI.
Is it Christensen?
Yep, it's Dennis Christensen up to bat right now. He's played Super League for a few seasons.
Yep, yeah, he's been around a long time as well.
And he swings through that. This is a veteran Goodwood team. They'll think nothing of that. They'll know it's one bad inning and it was a lot of soft contact.
Yep.
A lot of things can go wrong. They knew that they had to win 2 games to win the championship. And they still have 2 games potentially to play to win that championship as he swings through that. And now, unless Owen Hughes can keep extending the game, they could be down to their final out. Well, this has been an unexpected turn of events. Jackson Brebner Russ, 8 strikeouts, 1 run so far through 6 2/3. He's just allowed 2 hits on the day. 2 errors and make it 3 hits on the day as that drops into the outfield, and it's a hit for Owen Hughes. They tried to get the runner back, diving into second, and Matt Hutchings, and now Brody Heaps will come to bat. Home run here extends the game.
Well, that's the perfect scenario for us, isn't it, to keep the game going? I mean, Hutch was out there if Mitch catches the ball too, so a bit of a lucky escape there for Hutch at second, but let's see what Heaps can do.
13-1 game. Sturt scoring all but one of their runs in the 6th inning. 12 crossed the plate on a series of unfortunate events for the Goodwood Indians. Brody Heaps, the Rookie of the Year last season. Really promising player with some speed. Goodwood have had an interesting balance. You've seen some of the younger players feature in tonight's game, like Liam Scott, Brody Heaps getting in line. Peter Paik had some good turns at bat this year. It's a team of veteran players, but Darren Fidge probably said it pretty best during the week when the veterans aren't out there taking player spot. Matt Hutchings on second base, he's still a relatively young player in this league. They're not out there taking anyone's spot. You got to go and get them. And the ones that get into the game have certainly earned it, and you have to earn it to get on this Goodwood side.
Yep, no, absolutely.
You have to elevate your game to get there, and Goodwood have a very good program. They are playing in the Division II Grand Final tomorrow. So they've had a lot of players on their depth step up, and they'll need to call on that tomorrow to get out of this hole.
And I think they've got a lot of veteran guys that play in some of their lower grades as well, that are, ex-Division I players as well. So they've still got a lot of guys that are around the club as well.
It's certainly a good culture, and a good case in point there is, Darren Fidge was a starter on this team, but Liam Scott pushed him out into more of a relief role.
Yep.
Because Liam Scott had a 2.90 ERA. Here's the pitch down low. It's going to bring the count full with 2 outs, so the runners will go. Brody Heaps still battling despite the scoreline. swings through that. Jackson Brebner-Russ gets him to swing, and that is going to be the ball game. A 12-run sixth inning for the Sturt offense powers them to a 13-1 performance, but Jackson Brebner-Russ was also excellent in this game. He strikes out 9, he allows 3 hits, and only allows 1 earned run.
I think everyone's still a bit shocked at how it's all sort of panned out here in the end. It's,
Who would have scripted that?
Yeah, no, it's it goes so tight for 6 innings, and then all of a sudden 1 innings that just busts open, and you score 12 and get 3 outs, and the game's over.
So, Dunny, I mean, looking at this, it's a busy score sheet, and it was just a bunch of singles. Hard to pick out a standout player. Any short list for a player of the game in your mind?
Yeah, Jackson Brebner-Russ is my player of the game. 9 strikeouts for 1 hit against a team that's as strong as Goodwood. So you have him, you have McArdle,
who had 4 hits, 4 RBIs.
4 RBIs. But I think Brebner-Russ, 9 strikeouts against Goodwood's lineup to hold him to 1 run. He's definitely the player of tonight's game.
Yeah, where, you know what, they had 13, but they only needed 2.
Correct. Yep, correct.
So a wacky and weird game and a crooked number put up by Sturt ends the broadcast in the game probably a bit earlier than everybody expected. It's Sturt winning 13-1 in a mercy. We do game 2 tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. I'm Eric Ballner on behalf of Michael Dunn and everybody at Spacequake Sports. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you for game 2 with a premiership on the line tomorrow.